Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Okay, welcome everybody. Hello to those of you watching on YouTube, Facebook and all of the other nooks and crannies that you find us on these days. Alan Robson with your Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thank you for pointing your aerial in my direction. I shall not just stare at it, but I'll treasure it too. Talking tonight about the ultimate Christmas toys, really. An awful lot of the modern day toys I think are just nasty. But I would love to hear your views about the best toy you have ever bought, either for yourself or maybe for your little ankle biters. What was the ultimate toy that you wanted and you eventually got? Do tell. Was it a Scale-X trick? Or was it your favourite team for Sabutio? In Sabutio, I got so entrenched in the whole game thing. We used to be able to buy the names of players to play for your team, like transfer fees. And I once paid 10 pence for Malcolm MacDonald. Because we mate had Malcolm MacDonald. I wanted him to play up front. Because I already had John Tudor at the time. There you go. Even had Marco Gabbiadini playing up front briefly. Oh yes. Man of the North. So pick up your telephone. What is the ultimate Christmas toy? Was it Stretch Armstrong? If you don't know what that is, ask your nana. There was a brilliant rifle that would shoot round corners. Clever little gadget. You never even see it coming. Brilliant. We used to go to the top of a block of flats in Benwell and drop super balls off the top, and they used to bounce over buses, over people's houses. Amazing. Whenever anybody saw me, they used to say, oh, there's super balls. And also Wendy houses. Little girls all had Wendy houses. I remember when I was really little, some of the older girls used me as their patient. I was about 4. They were about 7. Always being put in a woman's hands. It's half the problem. Also, Teddy Ruxpin. How many of you remember Teddy Ruxpin? I thought it was a great idea at the time. It was a teddy bear that had a cassette in his tummy, and you could put a cassette in, and no matter what was on the cassette, Teddy Ruxpin would talk the words. Brilliant. Until, of course, some nasty pasty got a hold of the tape, and the band would put the tape in expecting Jack and the Beanstalk or a fairy story, and instead they'd got, your parents have always hated you, and the Teddy's telling them this. Unbelievable. So tell me, what was the ultimate, the greatest, the most fab? Board games. What did you play? What are you still maybe going to play this Christmas? Do tell. A lot of stuff to talk about tonight. The government love lockdowns. Gives them total control. They don't, because they've got emergency powers, they don't have to allow MPs to have the right to tell them that they're doing the wrong thing. And yet, lockdowns across the world don't work. It's pretty much proven that they just delay the spread. They never have. The virus just does its thing and then it passes. So all this talk about, oh, it's the third wave. No, it's the same wave, but we just keep interrupting it. And the government keep threatening that the National Health Service, oh, it'll be overwhelmed, they keep saying. There'll be 400,000 dead. No. And there hasn't been. and it's not been overwhelmed. And some of the wards, some of the hospitals that they built to be overwhelmed haven't had more than 30 patients the whole time. So why the lies? Boris may be forced to take the Northeast out of Tier 3 before Christmas. He put London, who are much, much worse off than the North, in Tier 2. Cheeky note, just because it's London, of course. Southern Jesse's can't hack it. And also, I don't know whether you heard the story about the Iranian nuclear scientist that got assassinated. 12 men grabbed him, dragged him out of a car, killed him, finished him off on the pavement. If Israel or America or Britain, whoever killed this Iranian, were they right to do it? Something that I've never understood. We have nuclear power, America have nuclear power, Israel have nuclear power, but nobody else can have nuclear power because we're the sheriff and we can tell these people of other countries. Why? What gives us the right to tell other countries whether they can have nuclear power or not? Or nuclear weapons for that matter? Where do you stand on that, sucker? Give me a call. 0191 488 3188. Now, how's this for an idea? MPs, due to their lack of action and just going along with what the government said with their emergency powers, have destroyed businesses, they've destroyed people's jobs. Surely those MPs should lose their job on the back of that. They haven't protected the people that they were elected to represent. Surely they should lose their jobs and lose their seats at the next election, whichever party they belong to. Like your views on that one too, especially if you're an MP. And also, GPs are still trying to avoid seeing patients. My question to them is, why did you become a doctor if you don't want to see patients? And what are you so scared of that, because you already check temperatures and masks and da-di-da, what are you so scared of? I saw a doctor, I was in a surgery this week to see a nurse because the doctors won't see you, and a doctor came out and he looked like a goalkeeper in ice hockey. He had so much kit. Oh, it's a person, run away. What's wrong with these people? Anyway, lots of other things to talk about, and don't forget, you can win a copy of my latest book, Grizzly Tales from Northumbria. If you want to win a copy, got one of them for another one of our greatest hits for you to identify. Juicy little rascal this week. See if you can work it out. Also, that Mirried Philpott. I don't know whether you saw the story. Hi, Ash. Just been on. Philpott, the Mrs. Philpott's been released from prison after serving less than half of her 17-year sentence for burning to death her 6 children. Why is she out of prison at all? Love your views. Dave Sanderson. Welcome back, mate. Great to have you with us. He says, oh, I'm very late to the party. Wow, wow, wow. Delighted to see Alan Robson's Night Owls up and running, albeit only once weekly. I know. It's a bloody disgrace, frankly. Let's crack on. Debenhams could disappear. What's your view? Topshop could follow it. Would you miss them? Or can you get everything that you used to buy in those stores somewhere else? Lots of other things. A hair salon. Oh, you know, somebody came on Night Owls a few weeks ago and said we should just declare the Magna Carta and then we don't have to shut down, we don't have to lock down, we can just get on with our lives. A girl tried this who runs a hair salon. She's got £27,000 worth of fines for breaking COVID regulations, and now she's lost a case in the courts using Magna Carta, so be very careful with that. Marks and Spencer's. Oh, hello to your newest fan, Kai, 6 weeks old. Hello, can I just go? Which is as much sense, frankly, as you get from other radio programs. Also, Marks and Spencer's, back to them. They're selling you chicken in a donut. And saying that it's not just any chicken in a donut, it's an M&S chicken in a donut. Chris says, tried it, bloody awful. Have you? Or is it going to be a passion? Oh, once this Christmas is over, will we never see it again? A British ISIS jihadist who's currently in a Syrian prison and hating it says he has to come home because he wants to be rehabilitated. Now, you see, my version of rehabilitation for ISIS jihadists involves a rope, a trapdoor, and a very long drop. Traitor to Britain, stuff you. Now, 23-year-old has died of cervical cancer. A lovely young lady, 23, cervical cancer. She has been to the doctors on 15 occasions with pain from down below. The doctors refused her 15 times to have a smear test, saying she was too young. Now she's dead of cervical cancer. Surely, if ever the National Health Service should be sued 15 times, it should be in that situation. Not acceptable. And for years, younger people whose family have a history of cancer have been asking for smear tests. It's their body and they've been refused. Why? It's plain wrong. Not only do we have the COVID to worry about, turkeys. Bird flu is back. Can you believe it? We'll probably have a lockdown because there's a bird in the sky. Run away! Hide in a coal cellar, because if you're within 100 yards of a bird, you could die. 400,000 will probably... You can see it coming, can't you? But 10,000 turkeys have been culled already. And, of course, for the big celebration in America, Donald Trump pardoned a turkey and then was jealous of the turkey because he might need pardoning himself. And an 82-year-old grandmother was fined £75 for dropping her tissues on the floor. Sniffy, nasty tissues on the floor. Were they right to fine her or wrong to fine her? What do you think? The National Health Service waiting list for operations has moved. It was down to between 6 weeks to 3 months. It's now gone up to 3.5 years. And this is the same National Health Service that we applaud, because let's face it, they do a great job. But we were also told all the way through COVID that serious operations were still being carried out. Not true. Okay, not true. 3.5 year waiting list. Some people in great and grievous pain. Chancellor Sunak, this Rishi Sunak guy, his wife has a £430 million stake in a company. Her shares, 430 million. I can't even imagine what that number means. How can these kind of people, multi-millionaires, how can they know what it's like to be self-employed, to be unemployed, to be handicapped, have a disability that you get given a pittance to look after? How can these kind of people do the job that ordinary people need? Yes, they can look after the rich because they're rich and they know what it's all about. How can they look after the rest of us? That's the question. And finally, there's an all-black Christmas advert, all about a family who happen to be black, on the telephone talking about, oh, you're using me gravy. I think it's a great advert. To be honest, I hadn't even noticed particularly that it was a black family. It was just a family that were happy celebrating Christmas. Now all the racists are coming out saying, oh, Sainsbury's, how dare you? A black family in Britain. Like it's a novelty or something. Pathetic. What's your view? If you want to talk about that, we'll have that as well. On Britain's Most Listened To, pick up your telephone, 0191 488 3188. Going to smother you with greatest hits. Load of superstars popping in for good measure. Pick up your phone, give us a call, and I'm going to start with something absolutely memorable as hell.
We love you loads, mate. We're dead proud of you, and we love getting you in on the show as well because you're a top lad.
Yeah, you may have spotted an incorrect jingly thing being played there. Don't worry, it'll be the last one. We will whip Hollywood McShane till the shirt off his back is ragged. Anyway, a lot of people have been sending things in. Gillian Armstrong said she struggled so much without the Night Elves. Thank you very much anyway for being back with us. Hi to Callum and North Shields and the Baba. Dean Charlton, keep it up, aye, he says. I do. Sometimes you've got to hold it in, he says, but anyway, that's nature. And Paula has a new night owl. Tiny new baby, but a big baby. 12 pounds, 12 pounds 7 ounces. That's a whopper. She says, big and round and a little bit yellow, bless. The bairn's got jaundice, and she says, what name would you suggest? Because they haven't thought of a name. It's a little girl. Big and round, slightly yellow. It's got to be Melanie, hasn't it? I suppose. Anyway, let's crack on. 0191 488 3188. Who's next? I think it is Nathan. Stockton upon the tees. Hi, Nathan.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
Yes, I'm sound. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. What are you on about?
Christmas presents.
Ooh, go for it.
So, I know, stuck on the last one to try and get my daughter for Christmas. Got a couple of ideas, but budget-wise, everything's just... I seem to be looking online and everything's just shot up in prices.
Well, obviously, they're trying to pull in some money after they haven't had money all year. That's the deal.
Yeah, get some extra coin in for them, don't they? But, some of the prices are horrendous on some things.
Crazy, crazy. What kind of things have you gone for? Have you gone for, like, the old school kind of stuff, or is she into high-tech and she's... I mean, how old is her, Ben?
No, she's all right, actually. There's some things... I've got some, like, arty craft stuff that she's into and that mainly, but it's a main present that she wants is one of them Nintendo Switches. And like the bundle on that, you're talking £200 to £300 just for that alone. Yeah,
it's that kind of thing that will have most people paying it off in July next year.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I got most of my Christmas shopping done throughout the year. You know, I've done it for years. We start off in sort of like January sales. You know, getting the cheaper clothes a bit higher up and stuff, and just putting them away. But like to stuff like that, you sort of have to save up all year for, or get it on them finances, pay weekly things, and
yeah. But you know yourself that as soon as they start pushing it, and because kids don't say in February, "Oh, I think I'll have that for Christmas." It's usually like October, November. They'll get something in their mind, and they'll be devastated if they don't have it. And just back in the day, I would get probably about October, I'd get that speech from my parents to say, don't expect too much, it's been a tough year and we don't have a lot of money, but we'll do the best we can. And then you'd just get what you got and you'd be happy with it.
I remember getting a football one Christmas and I was over the moon. I was outside in the snow, kicking it all over the place, just me, myself and I, you know. And
absolutely, yeah.
We had to entertain ourselves when we were kids. It wasn't all this stuff where you can go online and chat to your friends that way. We had to go out and play with our Christmas toys and whatever we got for Christmas, that was what you had to deal with, you know, whether it was good, bad, or... I mean, nothing's really ever bad because it's a thought that counts, isn't it, where it comes from. But,
it's not like that when you've got kids, so that's the difference.
No.
When you are a child, I don't think children think as hard about it as parents do.
Oh, no. I mean, kids could have spent millions and millions just on Christmas with the amount of stuff that they've come up with. I think mine's only about 25 quid on the things that I need, you know. But, like, kids can just...
Bottomless
endless and endless, can't they?
It's a bottomless pit. It's a funny thing because when you're a kid, and you're quite right, every year I wanted a decent football. I really wanted what you used to call a caser, like a proper leather football.
Yeah, the ones that used to leave the red marks on your thighs.
That's what you wanted. And I always ended up getting one of those plastic ones that you kept having to pump up with a bicycle pump.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty. But even so, it was still a football, and that meant you and all your mates, that's a good 2 or 3 hours a day right there.
Right.
Brilliant.
Exercise as well, isn't it? Out your parents' house, that's why they got you the ball, so you could get out the house, mainly. But,
sure,
you know, like...
What's happened since you became a parent, though? Have you ended up, you get a pair of socks and a bit of aftershave and That'll do.
You know, like I'm not really that fussy anyway. I've never really been that fussy, but like I'd love like a new tracksuit and a pair of trainers. You know, just fresh outfit sort of thing to start off the year with, and a couple of smellies to smell good. You know, I think that's all you get to when you get older, isn't it? Compared to that excitement of wanting toys, gadgets, and gazmos that are out there.
Yeah. And also, you realise that stuff actually is pretty much just stuff. Because when I was little, I would see some of my mates who had a bit more money than we did, and you'd go to the house like 3 days before Christmas and you couldn't see the tree for all the stuff around it. And I'm thinking, we got 4 presents. We got 4 presents. There's 3 of us living in the house, and there's 4 presents, which probably means I've got one off me mum and I've got one off me dad. You know, that was it. But
and if it was any chocolate, you had to share it with them anyway, didn't you? So
back then the big deal was what's in your sock. What's in that sock? And again, you could fill a Christmas stocking for about 2 old-fashioned shillings, which would be about 10p these days. An apple, an orange, a few nuts that you're going to need a hammer to get into, and any sweeties that were lying about. But this wasn't a thing where you'd say, hell, I'm going to have to, that's 70 quid, it's 80 quid, it's 140. The presents that they're looking for. And even now they're getting like 5-year-olds mobile phones.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, I remember mine as a kid. I got like board games and stuff, you know, like Monopoly, Snakes and Ladders, the daft games like that. And they kept us entertained for hours upon end, and we had them for years upon end.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a present that lasted 5 minutes, or if we drop it, we have to replace it straight away.
Yeah.
These games lasted us a lifetime that we can still remember today.
And they tend to still be in the cupboard. And you can still...
they're always there in case there's an emergency, aren't they?
And you can still remember, I don't really want to play Monopoly. We ended up arguing for about 2.5 hours the last time.
Going back to jail, getting 200 quid, it's a nightmare with the family round here. It's a good job it's not real money.
It was always that thing like, you didn't have a hotel on that.
You snuck one in when everyone wasn't looking, getting an extra bit of money on your hand.
When you go out to the toilet, all of a sudden there's a street full of hotels, and you're thinking,
that's it.
Don't remember.
When you're 500 quid down, you know something's wrong. You never play with family. It's a bad move, that one.
It is, absolutely. So, hey, bottom line, though, what are you going to do about the dilemma with the present that the bairn wants? Because it sounds like that's the thing she's set her heart on.
Yeah, I mean, she's been talking about it for a while, so I probably will end up getting it for her. I've still got a bit of money put aside, and I'm sure I can stretch to that bit extra if need be. But yeah, you know, like, other than that, if I can't get one for the budget that I'm on, I might have to sort of like pay a deposit on something and get it off another way, or see if anyone else is selling anyone that's brand new that they don't want. The PlayStation 5's just come out, hasn't it? So people have upgraded to that. And I'm sorry, my daughter's just come down to tell me something.
All right, that's okay. Well, she's more important than me. Talk to her.
There's just something about one of her friends. All
right, no worries. I'll let you get back to that. Thank you for coming on, and good luck. I hope it all works. It's funny though, because even if you got the present that she wants, deep down you know you've still got to get the chocolate, you've got to get the advent calendar, you've got to get the it's
all that Christmas spirit more than the presents and all that, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially this year, man. Hey, stay well. Good luck to you. I hope it
you too,
all
mate.
works
Have
out
a
for you.
good Christmas if I don't see you.
Bless you, man. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Bye-bye. There you go. Nathan in Stockton with a dilemma. He'll not be alone there. What's your dilemma this Christmas? Pick up your telephone, 0191 488 3188. We are off to Gateshead. Oh, yes, where we find Jan. Hello, Jan.
Hello.
Hello, darling. What are you talking about?
What I got and what entertained me and my sister.
All right. What was that then?
We got very little in the days. And I got mousetrap and it still couldn't build it up.
Right.
So as a child, I just gave in, and we got these long balloons, like with snakes, like a picture snake with a straw.
Right.
You blew them up, you took the straw out, and you should see how fast and what noise comes out of them. Or mint. So,
essentially 40 balloons, that's what you're talking about.
No, do you want to, it was done like a sweet noise all over. You know, when the air's coming out of the balloon.
Right.
Man, it was about 4 foot. There's like a balloon.
Wow.
Long snake.
Right.
Put the straw in. And we used to let them off. I mean, and I used to come in the Ma's living room.
Right, brilliant.
And me nana was saying, blah, blah, blah. What you saying? Ducking and diving, me nana. So she was sitting with me, so me nana was smiling. But then, this is Christmas time, my darling.
Yeah.
So the toys were out and we only got what we had.
Mm.
And the best thing I liked was me socks. Because my nana used to put everything in. Me tangerines, the fruit, little gadget things and that's what I love best on me socks.
Yeah, the Christmas stuff, it's underestimated. And I think people say, oh, I'm going to get her a phone or I'm going to get an iPhone even we're hearing, which is incredible if you can afford that kind of stuff. But it's just usually really expensive stuff. And yet most kids, they want stuff to open. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just stuff. Yeah. You know, chocolate and crisps and nuts and little toys, little fiddly things.
Well, that was that. We played, instead of playing with the toys, we played with these balloons.
Right.
Right, and we had a good laugh. Then we got the boxes, the cardboard box, and we slided down the stairs. We had more fun with that.
Yeah, with the boxes. I remember getting my mother got a box that had something in it. It was like a big tray or something, and I ended up wearing that and cutting a hole in it and calling myself a Dalek for about 2.5 hours. I was only about 5 or 6, but it's amazing the amount of fun you can get from an empty box or a bit of polystyrene. It's weird.
You know what, Alan? If we could go back, all these toys, gadgets, PlayStations, whatever, all electronics, they don't need to give the kids that. They need to do games and something that would be fun, laughing, and it would be cheap as well.
Yeah, interactive stuff that you can do with. Because the thing that the main reason I like Christmas, funnily enough, and you're quite right, wasn't to do with the toys. It was genuinely the only day of the year that I had my mum and dad to myself. Because the whole rest of the year, my dad was always working, my mum was always out at the shops. It was, occupy yourself, Alan. Had a way, go and play with the kids in the street. But on Christmas, you pretty much had their full attention, and it was actually really nice. Mm. Yeah.
It's just like what Nathan's saying. It was a caller.
Mm.
He's saying like you've got to put money away or get finance for this child.
Yeah.
They don't need to do that.
Oh,
they do something else, games and stuff like that.
No, I get that, but I remember though when I was little, my mother couldn't afford Christmas if she didn't save up, and she was in the co-op society, and every week she'd put like a quid or something into the kitty. So at the end of the year, she had 50 quid to spend on all the Christmas for everybody. And if she hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been able to afford it at the time because we didn't have a lot of money coming in.
And you know, Nathan, that's just been on.
Uh-huh.
I can help them to get the band toy, the present, if you pass me details on them.
Oh, my God. That's super, super kind of you. Are you all right, though? Are you going to be okay to have a good Christmas yourself?
You know what? No, I've started for my kids. I've done only Christmas. I've done it. But if he wants a hand, I'm prepared to do it.
That's really sweet. We'll hook you up and whatever you do. But that is super, super kind. We'll make that happen backstage.
Honest to God, I'll help them.
Well, that's sweet of you. Thank you very much for coming on anyway. Lovely to hear from you. Yes, love.
Do you know with, what do you call him? Mufara in the celebrity, I'm a celebrity.
Uh-huh.
I told Aunt Deck I bumped into him on the bridge.
Is that right? What did you tell him?
I says, he was running. And I got on the way with a helicopter with a grandban, looked down and bang, stayed in my face and nearly kissing him.
Fantastic. Hey, good stuff. Great hearing from you.
Honest to God, tell Nathan, if you pass Nathan my details.
I will.
And then I can sort it out with Nathan to get the band. Present, that's the one.
Super sweet. Thank you very much for coming on. Take it easy. How about that? There you go. How nice people are. It's Christmas and people just want to be just want to be what we've always been. We've always been a family, haven't we, in the glory that is the North. And it hasn't changed. And although they try and change us and they try and do that. Oh, Michael's just been on. He says, I used to live in Benwell, 12 doors up from Alan's mother and father. There you go. Probably saw them more than I did. That's a fact. So there you go. Tom says, that's the Northeast, man. Absolutely. That's what it is. Some shout-outs. This is Callum from North Shields. It's never been about the toys, presents, money. It's about being happy and being with a family, especially this year with COVID going. We should all be grateful we have our loved ones. Ben says, I'm in hospital. I'm stuck in here with no visitors due to COVID. Please give a shout out to my family at home, my fiancée Lauren and 2 kids, Lorna Lou and Jacob Jack. And Ted from Southampton. Alan, play the Pogues, man. It's going to be such a miss this year. All the pussyfooting do-gooders in the world banning it because of naughty words. No, we haven't banned it. It's still on here. And it's not that the words aren't naughty. They're just words that people used back in the day. And there's nothing really naughty in it. Blimey. Me. How many times have we played that? David's been on and he says there will be a third wave of COVID because it's the the Freemasonic number. Dum, dum, dum. The Illuminati, they're coming, and they're coming for you. What else we got? Oh, we got Stephen. He's in North Shields. Let's talk to him. Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Alan. You all right?
Hello, sir. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, where we'll start. I'm a courier driver.
All right.
And obviously we've been slammed from day one of lockdown.
No, I bet. Mind you, you're probably one of the few occupations that have increased the necessity for your service, if you know what I mean. Everybody else is looking over their shoulder. You mustn't have had a day off in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months.
My first day off since lockdown was today.
Blimey.
So we've worked all the way through.
And I bet it's been madness for you, has it?
It's been like the run-up to Christmas.
Right.
Every day since lockdown. It's been amazing.
Right.
Well, I say amazing. Obviously, we're making good money, but we're working long hours.
And you've probably not had a chance to spend any of it.
No, my partner's been good at
that. Yeah, I can imagine that working out. How is it for you, though? Because I can imagine you're literally being rushed off your feet, you guys.
Very tiring, not going to lie.
Right.
Obviously, I live in North Shields. I commute to Stockton every day. 7 days a week. That's
a dance before you start. Right.
Yeah, and then from Stockton, I then go and deliver over the Whitby Moors.
Blimey, that's a patch. But I mean, how have people dealt with you over that time when people come to the door? Because in my experience, I've had people come to my door and say, "Oh, here's a parcel for you." 9 out of 10 aren't wearing a mask, and obviously in your own home, you're not either.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you keep safe then?
I wear my mask everywhere I go.
All right.
I wear the rubber gloves whenever I'm at work.
Right.
I'd say 95% of the customers have been very respectful.
Right. Have they been masked or not, though? Because I would imagine in their own homes, probably not.
I'd say since day one, I think I've probably delivered to 10 people that have actually come to the door with a mask on.
Yeah. I can see that.
And I think the biggest gripe I've had was I had a delivery last week where we were super busy. We had the PlayStation 5 launch, we had the Xbox launch.
Right.
On top of the other deliveries that we would normally have. And I knocked on the customer's door at 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
They come to the door and she was like, "Well, you're blooming late, aren't you?"
Yeah. Probably a bit stronger than blooming, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I had to change my words. And I responded with, "Well, unfortunately, we are going through a pandemic. We are very busy. We've got Christmas approaching.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's disgusting that you're knocking on my door at 7 o'clock at night."
Well, you should have just said, "Well, do you want it or not? If you don't want it, I'll take it away."
My response was, "Is your parcel an essential item?"
Yeah.
And she replied with, "Well, it's a frying pan." So I said, "So no, it's not then, is it?"
Right.
And I said, So, my next 20 customers that I've got to visit are their parcels essential. Do I need to knock on their door with those parcels? Yeah, because it's my job.
Sure. You don't have a choice. I'm just thinking though, with the rollout of the new PS5, did you not end up having to have somebody with a shotgun riding alongside you in case you were hijacked? Everybody seems to want one of them suckers.
You would think. We were quite fortunate, like myself, on the route I do, that I basically delivered to the prehistoric time.
Right.
So I think the whole PlayStation, Xbox launch, I had about 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm delivering to like farms and houses in the middle of nowhere where even I don't get phone signal.
Right.
Right. But like I say, most of the customers I've had absolutely brilliant.
That's good.
Good to know. Small minority of people that think, "Oh, you're knocking on my door when it's dark."
Yeah.
But we're just doing our job.
No, absolutely. And to be honest, you are fortunate because the way that people buy things is completely changing. And this, I mean, the government said we want to get rid of money and we don't want high streets. We want people to buy from home and online and all this. And the pandemic has allowed them, and maybe this is one of the things it's always been about rather than COVID, but we're doing what they wanted us to do, but we weren't. Everybody was saying, no, we like our shops. Oh, it's COVID. You're going to die. Oh, well, we'll do it from home now. They've been educated to buy online far more than they ever were before. Even the people that were dead set against it are now getting like a weekly delivery from Iceland or Tesco or, that kind of thing. And you courier guys, you're here to stay. There's no question. No worries about your job, I wouldn't think.
No, definitely. I mean, every week, obviously, I get paid on a Monday, and I'm having to transfer money to my partner so he can order the food shopping and deliver it to the house because I don't have time to do it because of work.
Wow, my goodness. Hey, but you see, that in itself is an amazing thing because, bottom line, you're one of the safe ones. And everybody else is kind of looking over their shoulder wondering, how long have I got? Am I going to be paid off as soon as my time comes to an end? A lot of firms terrified for the future. High Street's dying on its backside. Self-employed people hitting the wall. Tough times, isn't it? Tough times. I mean, have you noticed, is Christmas as busy or busier than last year? Surely it must be.
I think we've noticed it is busier.
Right.
But it's been spread out.
Right.
So it hasn't just been like one big influx of...
Yeah. Because normally in a year, you'd probably start getting busy back end of November onwards. You've probably had a slow dribble since about August, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously... It slowly started creeping up when lockdown first started.
Yeah.
And then it just slowly progressed higher and higher every week.
Right.
I mean, the route I cover, the company I deliver for, they said the most that their driver ever went out with last November was 80 addresses.
Right.
What is it? I went out on Wednesday with 132.
Jeepers. Right, so that's you're heading towards double.
And that was across the moor, so it was nearly double.
Madness. Hey, well, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much for coming on. Stay well and have a good Christmas if you get the chance to. Thanks for calling.
No problem.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. And Stephen there, North Shields, driving and working all the way through the COVID lockdowny thing. Let's go to Cambridge. And we got Tom there. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What are you calling about?
Well, I tell you what, I last spoke to you 20 years ago. I was 15 years old, and I think I called in for some talent show.
All right.
And I played some guitar really badly.
Well, I'm glad. And you enjoyed it so much, you've come straight back on 20 years later.
I used to tell people, mate, I've been on the radio playing guitar. I've made it.
Yeah. Could have been Clapton, right? Okay.
Oh, it's great to talk to you after all this time.
Pleasure, man. Thanks you for coming back. So, what are you talking about tonight?
I just wanted to talk about the fans going back to football stadiums soon. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I have. What's your view of it?
Well, I think it's great because we've all missed it, haven't we?
It's not the same as well. You know yourself that a crowd can suck a ball into the net, can't they? If they're doing it right.
Absolutely. I know they've got rules. I think you're not allowed to sing. I tell you what, we are singing. We are going to be singing, mate. There's no way you can tell thousands of people not to sing, not to cheer, not to...
I was just imagining the crowd. You know, the referee does something wrong, and or against your team. Instead of singing, everybody's going. It's not going to work, is it? You're gonna be howling when you get in there. That's no question.
I can't wait. I mean, I as you can tell, I'm from Cambridge, born and bred, but I'm a Newcastle fan.
All right, great.
I 2 or 3 times a season, I'll get the train. I'll get on 2 buses, a taxi, and 2 trains to St James's Park.
Good man.
And then we'll go back home the same day. We don't usually stop over. We just go straight home.
Whoa!
And it's like a 12-hour. Well, no, it's like an 18-hour day. So we set off at 7 a.m. and then we get home by about midnight. But me and my brother go, but we love it the whole day.
It's an adventure, though. To be honest, I always think it's better doing something, even if it takes all day, than sitting on your backside doing nothing.
It is such fun. You know what I love the most is just getting on the train at Cambridge. There's already Newcastle fans getting on.
Great.
There's already black and white, and then we get on at Peterborough. Even more Geordies get on. Then by the time you get to Leeds, Darlow, it's just the train's just packed, and it's such a great atmosphere.
It's great that you come up, but how do you fit in? Because you're not a Joe. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but you're a Southern Jesse, for heaven's sake. What are you doing coming up here?
Well, all of my dad's a Geordie, and so all my family are from the north. And I know the area really well. I've spent a lot of my childhood up there.
But listen to you don't even speak the language. Come on.
Well, obviously, I went to school down here. So, but honestly, nothing makes me more proud than wearing my Newcastle colours around Cambridge. Right. I just love it. And if I ever see, very rarely, but if I see another Newcastle fan, it's just the best feeling ever. You just get to speak to them, I'll see what their story is.
I was just thinking, any other city, it might cause you, if you were in Manchester, it might cause you a problem or two. If you were in if you were in Millwall, you'd be a sprinter. But but Cambridge, probably the only opposition you're going to get is off people that support the boat race, because Cambridge isn't really big on the soccer scene, is it?
It's such a shame because obviously, I mean, I'm a Cambridge United. I'm a 2-club man, I guess. I mean, most people would call it a 2-club W word, but I do go watch Cambridge United as well.
Good.
I used to be a season ticket holder until I'm a dad now. So
what league are they in? Forgive me, I don't know.
They're in. Well, we're back in League 2. We won promotion back 6 years ago, but we weren't on league for a decade.
Right.
A whole day, and that was hard, man. That was hard. That was really depressing. But no, we got promoted at Wembley 6 years ago.
Great. Back
in the league. But I support them because they're my local club. But my heart is with Newcastle. It really is. I mean, when we went,
blimey, you like to suffer, don't you? Blimey, following the black and whites, because let's face it, it's a roller coaster of mid-table to relegation to mid-table again, isn't it?
Yeah, but honestly, nothing makes me more proud than because to me, I'm born and bred in Cambridge, but Newcastle is a city that I feel proud of to be associated with. Yeah. Cambridge is fine, but we're not a footballing town. Everyone's into, like you said, boat race, rugby, Jesse stuff like that. And
you don't have to accept the term that I called you, because your dad's a Geordie, so technically you're a half a Geordie, aren't you, really? Yes.
I'm a half a Geordie, and I turn that up to the max. So yeah, I buy my Newcastle brown ale. I listen to Dire Straits.
Hey, coincidentally, I don't know whether you can see that. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I've got you on YouTube.
There you go. They've just put out cheap. I hasten to add. At department stores, places like Tesco's,
Yeah.
Morrison's,
Oh, nice.
the supermarkets, they put a box set together of 6 Dire Straits albums for 15 quid. And they were kind enough to send me a copy, which is very nice.
No bad, eh?
There you go, that's it. But once again, you Northerners got to stick together, you see, that's the deal.
Nothing makes me feel more proud. There's a local pub in Cambridge called the King Street Run, and they've got, you know that song by Busker?
Home Newcastle.
Oh, they've got that on the jukebox, and me and my brother will put that on, and we will just sing at the top of our voices, and everyone's in the pub is just thinking, what the hell are these two guys doing?
Yeah, I would imagine they just can't wait for you to come in.
We know every word to that song. We know all about the Penixto, and it's just, we love it.
No, happy days. Hey, well, it's lovely to talk to you. You're looking forward to getting back. Do you think it'll be a success, or do you think it'll be, oh, hang on, they're going to have to stop that after a fortnight and back to square one again?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, fingers crossed, Alan. Fingers crossed.
Right. Let's hope so. Hey, good talking to you, Tom. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Cheers, Alan.
All the best. Thanks again. There you go, Tom. Half Jody. Well, you can imagine what must life be like for a half Geordie living in Cambridge, which is, frankly, the heart of southern Jesseville, isn't it, really? 0191 488 3188. Let us have a little bit of music, I think, and let's have a celebrity doing a little bit of talking at the same time. And who's it going to be? Let me just find... Oh, yeah, I know who it'll be. It shall be Earth, Wind and Fire. And this time, they're talking about all things paranormal.
But I understand, Alan, that you're into the kind of the paranormal thing.
We do a batch of that, yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, let me tell you something very interesting. Okay. I was, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was in New Orleans.
Right.
Have you ever been to New Orleans?
Absolutely. We've done TV there, yeah.
Okay, so I took the haunted tour in the French Quarter.
Right. Oh, blame me, yeah.
And, man, all you got to do is bring a digital camera and you will get orbs on film. I am not kidding.
Yeah.
I have several shots of several places I took, and orbs would show up on the film.
Wow, cool. But let's ask you some stranger things then. What are you frightened of? You got any rational or irrational fears?
What am I frightened of? There's nothing that comes to mind right off the top of my head.
Earth, Wind and Fire are fearless. That's what we know.
is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Yeah, Tony got the right jingle this time, tell you. He's learning. And Dave Sanderson has been on, and he says, don't forget about the annuals. Do you remember the annuals? Every year you had to have an annual of the whatever comic you read all year. And he says, Beano Dandy, obviously, but also Beezer, Topper, oh, blimey, now you're talking, and best of all was Ua Wooly. I think the Scots preferred the Bruins, but it was great when it was Ua Wooly's turn that year. Yeah, because one year you'd get Ua Wooly, the next year it would be the Bruins, and they just kind of went like that. Because there were little cartoons out of a newspaper called the Sunday Post, which was like Scotland's version of a kind of like a family Daily Mirror kind of paper. Anyway, but yeah, I really remember all of those. And there was slightly more grown-up annuals as well. The Victor, the Hotspur, the Hornet, the Eagle with Dan Day and the Mekon and all of that kind of stuff. And girls had all of their own types of comics. Can't tell you the name of one, frankly. Girls' World. But was there one called Butterfly? Something like that? Anyway, who knows? Ladies, do tell. What were the books and the comics that you were reading that were girly? Do tell. 0191 488 3188. Lots of messages coming in. I'm very quickly going to rattle through these. Easter says, where do I go to see if a cat has a chip? And if it has got a chip, will they take it? He's found a stray cat that lives in his garden. He feeds it every day. He probably feels it as well, but he feeds it every day and couldn't see any harm come to him. Used to let it in the house, but it's quite happy in the garden. It does. It needs a nice, loving home. Even the birds dance around him in the garden. I've had it about 6 to 7 years, but it's wasted. I know I'll sound like a T word, but the weather's getting colder. You take it to a vet. If it's somebody else's cat, they'll tell you it's somebody else's cat. If it's not chipped, then it's I suppose fair game. David says, I'm not taking the vaccine. If people have taken it, then they will be immune to me. And he says, I think sheeple, not people, sheeple, might just be starting to wake up to the BS of the lockdown. And Nathan, who was on before, he says, wow, you were right about Jan. I'm gobsmacked and overwhelmed here. I tried to keep myself composed over the phone to her, but she has just definitely brought me to tears. To offer what she did was truly a Christmas blessing. Can you please shout her out on the radio with undivided gratitude and thank you for your help in time? How about that? She's come up trumps. And masks, David says, they need to be binned, Alan. They simply don't work. But we're trained to use them now. We have been brainwashed in such a fashion. If they don't work, we have been brainwashed well. And now the government say they're going to get celebrities to tell people how to behave during COVID because some people are starting to doubt what the government say. So they'll get celebrities to say what the government say. So they're celebrities we won't believe either then, I'm guessing. Unless you believe everything the government tell you. Do you? Tell me. 0191 488 3188. We have Andy, I think, is first. He's in Spennymoor. Hello, Andy.
Hiya, Alan.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
It's better than me 30-second wonder last time.
I know. Welcome back. Got you on good and proper. So,
right.
Tell me everything.
First of all, I'm utterly disgusted. I told you that my mate died.
Right.
And his shop, kids have been destroying the outside of his shop.
Oh, my, no.
And he's died. And I just begin to wonder what sort of society it is nowadays. Because he hasn't been buried yet.
Oh, my goodness. And I presume his family have been, what, just closed it up and...
The shop's been closed, the house is still there, and there's destruction on the front of the property, ripping the bloke's name off, like the letters off the front of his shop for a start.
That's sick.
And it's really, really sickening.
It is, absolutely.
If this is the way society's going at the minute, it's a joke.
It's not a funny one, though, is
I
it?
just thought I'd mention that because I'm utterly disgusted in it.
Yeah.
Next, this government.
Right.
We all don't like talking about the government every week. But I don't like them.
Have they? I mean, whatever government was in, COVID would have been something to deal with. I mean, have they done a good job, a bad job? Could anybody have done it better? What do you think?
I think the government's corrupt.
Corrupt?
Corrupt. Last week they said, this is what we were going to come with last week, they were putting 30 billion into the Army, Navy and Air Force in Britain. Why do we want to do that? Are they expecting to go into war? And like today, they've said they've come with an agreement with France over stopping the immigrants coming over on the boats. How have you done that? Have you given your fishing rights away? That's too much stinking. And I don't like it.
No, there's lots of little signs, like the government are saying, oh, we're going to be victorious. But what you don't realise is, in Britain, we're hearing stories from France saying, oh, Macron's furious. He's going to march out of the European Union and he's going to take France with him because he's going to stand. But if you see what they're actually saying in France on the French news, Macron's saying, we're winning the battle over the fish. So
I actually believe we've already made the deal.
They both can't be right, can they? You know, if they're at odds, they're at odds. But they're both saying they've won.
Yeah.
So that sounds to me like a.
I think all the taxpayers are getting swindled.
I think there's been something happening under the table that we don't know about.
Yeah. What was the next bit? Right. When, as an example, right, I've got COPD, severe.
Right.
And I can't go out. I'm not supposed to.
Right.
But I have to.
Sure.
Sometimes I can't go shopping. And what I'm being told by local authority is, sorry, but we're not paid to help you to go shopping.
Right.
It's madness.
Presumably what they would expect you to do then is not go shopping, and you ring your local supermarket and ask them to deliver if they've got a slot for you.
No, what they said was, go and see your next door neighbours, or my next door neighbours are all people.
You can't do that. No. I understand. You cannot do that. And what they've just said today, not just for people, at risk like yourself, but they've said today in the press, yes, it's going to be really busy around Christmas, but don't spend more than 15 minutes in any shop.
According to them, people were getting the viruses in the shops.
Well, that's what they're suggesting.
I hope you don't mind, but the next little bit.
Go for it.
I was having a bad day.
I'm sorry to hear that.
We're on about that injection.
Yes.
Right, I think it's a fake. I don't care what the government say, because according to Boris, he wanted everybody locked down till the end of February.
Yes.
And then he's backed down. Because 100 people in the Conservative Party has turned round and said they're not going to back him.
Yeah, because you see, as long as he's got emergency powers, and he's had emergency powers since March, he doesn't have to go to the Cabinet and say, do you agree with what we're doing? Let's have a vote on it. Because when you're in an emergency situation, the Prime Minister just makes a decision. Everybody has to accept it. So they do. Hence, what they've done with the media. The media are not really allowed to question what the government say because it's an emergency and lives are at risk. So you can't question what the government do. Otherwise, some TV programmes have already been fined. Some presenters on radio have lost their jobs across the country.
There's too many radio stations being quietened down. It's a bit ridiculous, because at the end of the day, if people have rights, you're not getting them. And I received a document of Liberty, and with all my rights. And what they've said is, your rights are being breached, but this is what they're doing, which I don't mind, because it's every aspect of your rights what the government are abusing. It's horrible.
And the worst part of it, though, is that the press have been shackled, and and it's like if you have to obey what the government say and tell the people what the government tell you to tell them, you're only getting one side of a story, and that's never a good thing.
This government doesn't tell you the story. We just say, right, they're doing as we tell them, and we don't care. It's like, if you don't mind,
go for it.
The aspect of a place about what's been going on, like down London, it's going on in Germany.
Yeah.
They all acting the same now, as like the conflicting together about if you want to go and protest, they'll come and batter you. Simple as that.
We saw that horrible footage of an old age pensioner being wrestled into the back of a van.
Disgusting.
I don't understand how it takes like 5 police officers.
What happened when BLM went on their approach when the police just walked away and got on one knee?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a two-tier disgrace down the line.
Well, there's certainly no consistency. What do you think will happen then? Will there be another lockdown after Christmas? What do you reckon?
You know there's going to be another lockdown. You don't have to ask. He said he wants the lockdown to go through till the end of March.
But is this just because he wants the power to do what the hell he likes and sort out Brexit so that nobody can complain about it?
You can't blame his missus, like we did last week. You can't blame his missus this week. No, it's politics. All this is politics. Bedroom tax, politics.
Yeah.
It's all money for the Conservative Party. Simple as that.
It's always been about the dosh, no question. Hey,
good
catching up, Andrew. No worries, Andy. Take it easy.
Tatty bye.
Thanks, man. Tatty bye. Blame me, a doddy expression. I love it. 0191 488 3188. We got John from Derbyshire as well. Let's have a word with him. Hi, John.
Hello, Alan. You all right?
Yes, good, mate. What can we do for you?
I was just trying to cheer a few people up. And what I'm doing this year is I've released a Christmas single.
Right.
Called The Spirit of Christmas. Just for a bit of fun, and it's basically trying to cheer people up.
Excellent. So what's it about? I know it's obviously about the spirit of Christmas.
It's about the spirit of Christmas, and the overriding bit is repeated many times through the song, Let's Have a Drink at Christmas.
Right.
Obviously, that's been messed around, because I assume up in the North East, you're the same as us in Derbyshire, you're in Tier 3, so we've got no pubs.
Right. But for now, we're here. We're battling it because there's an awful lot of areas around the north that have had no cases for months now. So we don't understand why we're not Tier 2. But so we're hoping that we will be downgraded to a 2 by the time Christmas comes. But hey, time will tell, and fingers crossed for you guys too. Do you want to just give us an a cappella chorus?
Yeah, no problem.
Go for it.
It basically goes, let's have a drink at Christmas, grab a wine or grab a beer. Let's have a drink at Christmas, try a bit of festive cheer. Let's have a drink at Christmas, it's a time to be with friends. Let's have a drink at Christmas, hope that friendship never ends.
Hey, that's very good. Excellent. So where can people get the fully fledged version then?
It's available on all the streaming and download platforms. It's called The Spirit of Christmas.
Spirit of Christmas by?
John J. Delaney.
John J. Delaney on all of the platforms. Check that out. Get it up. Is there a video with it or just a tune?
There'll be a video released in about a week's time.
Wonderful.
I'll stick the link in the live chat on the Facebook.
Please do.
Live,
excellent.
So you can see it on that. But no, it's just a bit of fun. For anybody who likes to stream it and have a listen, I've been warned it gets in your head, so people complain at me that once they start getting it in the head, that they walk around all day singing it. So
brilliant.
Just a bit of fun.
Good luck with it. Hope it works out for you, man.
Cheers. Thanks a
lot.
All
the best. Bye-bye. Let's have a drink for Christmas. There you go. Yeah, sounds like a plan, really, doesn't it? Also a plan, Gloria Gaynor. Talking about her worst ever pain.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to the Gloria Gaynor body? I'm talking accidents, operations, anything nasty.
Thing.
Oh, yeah, we want agony
absolutely.
here.
I fell in 1978. I fell on stage during a performance, and woke up the next morning paralyzed from the waist down.
No.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I injured my spine. I ruptured a disc, and the bones, vertebrae clamped down on the nerve, and just, at first I was in excruciating pain, and then I was paralyzed. I had surgery on my spine. I was in hospital for a little over 3 months, and came home, and while in a back brace that helped me to recuperate, helped me to keep my spine straight while I recuperated from the surgery, I recorded "I Will Survive."
Wow. In the perfect song. Because when that came out, and it was an overnight success, and it's still played at every party on earth pretty much. Everybody says, well, she can't possibly come up with another song that's as meaningful as that. And then I Am What I Am arrived, and everybody says, she has. How do you find tunes like that? Because they're
normally they're sent to me, and I and my team have the good sense to know a good song when we hear it.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, Gillian says that she wants to know how she can listen on the radio as well. She's obviously watching the stream. Thank you very much for doing that. But she wants to do what a lot of people do, which is have the radio on in the background or have Alexa or whoever telling them where to find it. And a lot of people listen, and then when the music comes on, they ease up the fader for the radio, and then they go back to the stream again. How does she get it? Do tell.
Well, I know we can't put the music on the stream because of the copyright. So everyone's saying, why don't you leave it on? So you can get an Alexa. They're good.
Yeah.
And Black Friday, they're half price. You can get them for 20 quid.
Right.
The Google Home, you can ask Google to play Greatest Hits Radio Northeast.
Right.
You can get it on DAB in the Northeast.
Right.
And you can get it on the app on your phone as well. So if you want the music, the app on your phone, you're obviously online.
Yeah.
So you can listen through a browser, the app, or get an Alexa or Google Home. And there's so many ways to listen these days, isn't there?
Right. So no excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Yes, Glenn spotted me picking my nose. There you go. Wasn't actually picking my nose. There was an ounce of drippy just about to happen, and I stemmed it. Stopped. Didn't want to have to flick you. There you go. Anyway, let's cry. Wayne, the para, says, Alan, we are in the last 5 weeks of the year. I just felt I should thank everybody who made me smile this year, and you're one of them. Thanks, buddy. Really mean it. Thank you very much. And a quick poem, and then we will be about Helen in concert. Moon Woman. William Walton says this, Alan, I'm doing a book of poetry. And I'm wondering what your view and those of the listeners are for this one that I did. It's called Earthly Peace. I shall do it in my best poetry voice. Standing on the river bank, through trees a glimmer of light, the rushing of the roaring river, nature's creatures come alive at night. The peace I feel resonates inside, no more heartache or tears to cry. I sit down and old memories draw near. I start to shiver, no need to fear. Loved ones gone to a better place. This hole in my heart I cannot replace. They come to my thoughts in a gentle way, and I listen intently to what they have to say. Go forward, they say, go forward and smile. Let the pain and the sorrow slowly subside. We, in truth, are never far away, for in your heart we will always stay. I return once more to the concrete jungle or city, and realise to myself it's such a pity, this land ravaged by the greed of man. It's never changed since time began, always wanting more and more. Learn to live simply like times before. Instead of the darkness we know as night, become peace, love and light. There you go. Bit of a slaver, but William's poem. Let him know what you think about it, please. We got Helen in concert. Hello, Helen.
Oh, hello, Alan. Hi, how are you? All right?
I'm very, very well. How is it in concert? Are the yaks out yet?
It's freezing, actually. But,
there you go. It's only a matter of time. The yaks will be coming down from the hills. So what you got for me, anyway?
You said Moon Woman. Well, I've got my bottle of pop and my empty pop bottle full of water on the extension roof because it's a full moon tonight.
Hey! Brilliant. That's good.
Right. What it was, Andy from Spennymoor had been on and he said he was having difficulty getting his shopping because he's got COPD. And, well, we've got a friend who lives in Durham. She's in her 90s and we ask every week, do you need anything? And she says she gets all her shopping. She's never been out since March. And Age Concern deliver all her shopping.
That's good. Good.
So I'm just thinking, maybe, I don't know if there's one in Spennymoor, but I'm sure the Age Concern in Durham would maybe hook him up with somebody who could do that for him, If he can't, rather than risking going out.
Sure.
Because nobody wants to go out at the moment, does it?
Well, you see, I thought that. But if you've ever been to a supermarket over the last 2 or 3 days, it's like it's the day before Christmas, like Christmas Eve. They're queuing with traffic lights at the big supermarkets, and you're thinking, what's going on here? There's no shortage of people, and the shops are heaving. So, for those people that don't go out, they think, it's lockdown. Nobody must be out and about. You're kidding yourself. I was stuck in traffic just to get down here for about 15 minutes. There's so many people hitting the shops just doing Christmas like they would last year.
Well, we went to Lidl in concert last night.
Right.
About 6 o'clock. There
Right.
was no eggs, no bread, no vegetables hardly. And I thought, well, you know what? Are they all expecting something? You know what I mean? Expecting their shops to shut or something because there was very little left.
Well, I think it's just
a
that.
mass panic, you know.
I think what's happening, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of, let's get we'll buy an extra toilet roll. You know, like they've grown two bums or something. But people are doing that a bit. But the other thing is, because the lockdown says you can't do this and that and the other, people are now treating going to the shops like a day out. I saw people in there that I'm in and out of a shop. I don't particularly want to be trawling about. So I like to go get whatever I'm wanting and then get the hell out. So I'm quite happy to be... But I see people that are just having a lovely time and they're stopping in the aisle and they're chatting to friends that they see in the store and they're doing all the things that you're not supposed to do, but because it's in a shop, they consider that that's all right. And whether it makes a difference, who knows? Because we haven't been told the truth from the beginning. We're not going to get told the truth anytime soon. But I can say that they've done an amazing job of scaring the pants off pretty much everybody.
You know, when you're on about this COVID at the moment, it was on the television the other day that they're talking about opening up this special ward at the RVI and also opening up the Nightingale hospitals again. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, they're saying all the R numbers come down and all the cases are coming down. So why are they opening back up? Are they expecting a big rush or something?
No, but you see, unless they can say things like that, they can't keep the level of fear high. And if they can't keep the level of fear high, people won't do what they tell them to do. I think this is all a control thing. Last week, I was talking about the Nightingale hospitals. There were 7 built to take thousands of people at a time. 6 of them are now closed. The only one remaining has only ever seen 30 patients since it opened at the very beginning. 30. Not 30,000, not 300,000 like the government said. 30 people. And it hasn't been cost effective, which is why they're closing them down. The thought about opening extra wards is because the government said, if we get this lockdown wrong, 400,000 people could die.
Yeah.
Now, no. It's Boris and the bus all over again. You know, Boris saying the National Health Service are going to get all of these millions every month now if we leave Europe. They're not going to get a penny. It's all just, as soon as you hear any number falling from the government's mouth, any of the members of the government, you just look to the sky and say, they've made that one up. And they want to keep us scared so that we'll keep obeying. Because we've obeyed pretty much, I mean, better than I thought we would. Because we've been raised as a nation to think for ourselves. We're free. Our parents fought for freedom, and we're proud that they did. And because of the sacrifices they made in the war, we are now free people. Well, we're not free now. Not
I
in
can't
any shape.
believe the way people have gone along with it. I just cannot believe people just accept it. And now you can't even... Are you still living in Scotland, Alan, and travelling backwards and forwards?
Yes, I am.
Are you managing to get... Because apparently you kind of get into Scotland now and you kind of get back out if you go. Are you managing to get backwards all right?
I'm on the borders, and because of the border folk go back and forth over all the time, so people, I think they just think I'm popping out to shop. I'm getting back really late. must be one of those 24-hour shops this guy's going to. But no, I've never not had any kind of bother at all with it.
I do not know, because we've got friends up there, and we were thinking of going up a few days earlier, because you can go between the 23rd and we thought we could maybe go a few days earlier, but then we thought, well, maybe, you get stopped and you get a massive fine trying to get across the border. But
I'm not aware of anybody that's happened to, and I know a lot of people that go back and forth. I would have no qualms. Legally, I can't tell you to go, but if it was me, I'd be straight away. 2 days early, 5 days early. Just do. You see, it's come to this where we have to make certain decisions, and I would be on an aeroplane anywhere now if we were legally allowed to do it. But at airports, they're now questioning everything that you do, so you can't do that. Travel, I want to go all over Britain. I don't want to be kept in a box. The whole point of freedom is to be free. And if you're not free, what the hell are you? And what kind of country are we living in?
Well, it's not much of a life, is it? If you cannot go anywhere and you cannot do anything. And
you can't cuddle your relatives. You can't go and see your children if they live somewhere else. There's a lot of questions as to, we have to break free of this and we have to get our freedoms back, because what a doctor said about COVID, and I thought this was interesting, this was just this week, because there's a whole host of scientists actively saying there's no point of this lockdown, has no point. We're much better off now than we were in March, massively better off. People are not dying particularly of COVID, although they're still writing down that they are. They're dying of old age. And if they've had a test within a month or so of dying, and a lot of elderly people have had tests, they're being put down as COVID, even if they're not COVID. So we're getting a wrong number to base it all on before you even start. But what the scientists said, that lockdowns don't work, they never have. The virus is merely doing its thing. You put a lockdown in place, it stops the virus seeing itself through, and it just prolongs it. It doesn't shorten it. If you let the virus do its thing, it comes, it goes, like viruses do, and then you get on with it, and then another virus will come along, like they do, year by year by year by year. And all we're doing is prolonging it. And in the process, ruining the economy, killing people's jobs, making people with mental health issues suicidal. You've got to look at the wider picture and not just COVID deaths. It's how many people having to wait 3.5 years for urgent surgery.
You wonder how long they can keep this up, don't you? I wonder how long forever. I don't know.
But you see, if you listen to mainstream news, and only mainstream news, you'll never hear anybody questioning it, because they're not allowed to, otherwise their TV show will be pulled off the air. Now, to me, that's wrong, because what happened to free speech? What happened to us being able to say, well, even if we did, there were people during the whole Gulf thing that were radical, and they were saying horrible things about the British government and British soldiers and the British people. But we fought for freedoms so that they were allowed to say that. Now we can't even say the government's lying to us.
I know there was those riots in London. We don't have the internet, you see, but
yeah, there's been a few across the world. It must have
been pretty bad, was it?
Yeah, and across the world. I mean, in Paris there was 40,000, then there was 128,000 in Germany, almost 200,000. People are not believing what they're being told. But you see, how big a conspiracy does it have to be that all of the world leaders are prepared to play? There's something heavyweight going on here. And somebody before says, why are people hiring more army, and why are they putting all of this money into the army? Well, maybe if civil disobedience gets to such a place, maybe they're going to need to bring the army into the streets and enslave their own people.
Well, I've always said that they'll bring, tear gas and whatnot into, these riots and things, and water cannons and goodness knows what,
But you see, as soon as people started complaining about the lockdown and saying it isn't right, and why are you treating your own people like this, we're going to march. As soon as they said they were going to march, then the government says, we're bringing in a new law, you can't have any marches. It's like, how do you fight back?
Well, it just seems at the moment that Boris Johnson can do what the heck he likes.
Yeah, because he's got these emergency powers. But as I say, 100 of his own MPs have rallied against him. And I think probably on the back of people like you going to their MP saying, this isn't right. What are you going to do about it? You're supposed to represent us. It's like what happened in London. They've got a much worse situation with COVID because of the massive tight population that's living very, very closely together. Certainly far closer together than we do in the north, where we've got a little bit of expanse. But they've got it much worse, but they're in tier 2. Why are they in tier 2? Well, because that's where the government that's where the government live. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have that. They're going to keep their pubs open, and they're going to keep all of the things that they want going on. But in the north, and there was a list in one of the newspapers over the weekend, 18 places that are free from COVID. They haven't had anything in months. And there was, I think out of the 18, there was one that had one person that caught it, but he's all right. He's got a bit of a sniffle. And you think, these people haven't got any problem at all. And it's not small places. It's Alnwick, it's Morpeth. They're not having any issues with it at all. But they're in tier 3, the highest tier. So this has to be either an aberration or the government not giving a monkeys about the north as usual.
Well, it's always been like that, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Helen.
Take care now.
You too.
Okay.
Bless you, darling.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. There you go, asking a lot of questions. Now, we talked about delivery drivers before. Jules is with us from the glorious countrified place of Hemlington. Hello.
Hi, Alan, you all right?
I'm good, Jules. What are you talking about with us all tonight?
Well, when I had the conversation earlier on your show about delivery drivers...
Yeah.
Well, a few people who I know, I won't name names or anything like that. It's not happened to myself, but there has been people complaining about not receiving the parcels and whatever.
Right.
And with the current situation and Christmas on the corner, well, someone had put some footage of a delivery driver delivering a parcel to a house.
Yeah.
And not knocking on the door, they sort of like scanned the parcel.
Right.
So I couldn't believe what I saw, like. And then picked it back up and took it back in his van without even knocking on the door. And whether, I'm just wondering to make people aware what's going on.
Right, so what you're saying is that some of the delivery drivers are dodgy, and it doesn't surprise me because there used to be only one or two delivery drivers doing this, and it was always the post office, really, and now you've got hundreds of different companies all doing it. Mind you, I do believe that the vast majority of them are decent people just trying to earn a crust. But mind you, one of the other things that and this actually happened to a guy that lives about 3 doors down from where I am. It was bucketing with rain, so the parcel delivery guy knocked on the door. There was nobody in, so they put it at the side of the house in a gutter, and it was running with water. And it was a dongle for a laptop or something. And by the time he picked it up, it was just... You could have wrung it out. It was so, and I know sometimes they'll stick them under dustbins and round the back of the house and behind the back step and stuff. Can I do that in bad weather? Put it back on the van and say I'll try again next time I'm in the patch. Surely you kind of just, if there's nobody there, just dump it. But
yeah, that's what they have done. But with me, my own experience, they've always emailed me to say. When it's due and whatever, and then
that's better.
If I'm not available in my home, they've known to ring me to see where I am or where they can safely put it.
Yes, good.
Until I get back to the property.
No, that's good. That's the way that it should be.
But for someone to blatantly do that on camera footage, to scan it, and then when it's come back from the owner of the property saying my parcel hasn't turned up, they would turn on and say that they had received it because he scanned it, but obviously he took it back at the van.
Yeah, and he's probably got it under the tree for his son's door or whatever the hell it is. Now it's just plain wrong. Plain wrong.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
It is. Anything else then, Jules, while you're on?
Well, at the moment I'm going through a bit of a bad time.
Why? What's happening?
My dad's in hospital with COVID. He's been coming up 4 weeks.
How old is he?
He's 83.
Bless him. What a damn
Yeah, I mean, my brother and my mum sort of had to put Oni on the mouth, but my dad had to go into hospital. I mean, he's getting there. I'm talking to him every day, and it's just...
How is he though? I mean, is he okay?
Oh yeah, he's getting there day by day.
Good.
But it's just uncertainty when he'd be. We're hoping he'd be home for Christmas.
Yeah, that's the worry. That's the worry right there. But as long as he keeps getting well, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, he's getting stronger by the voice.
Brilliant.
When he's having physio, that's when it knocks him for 6.
Right.
Right. He's feeling weak and But when I've, like, myself and my son talk to him, like, and they say, like, his voice, I can tell by his voice.
Yeah.
That he's getting there, but it's just a way, like, we're taking it day by day and just see how...
Well, the worst thing is you're not able to go in there and give him a cuddle, and that's what he needs more than anything. It's probably more than medicine at the present moment, but...
Yeah, exactly. So we keep the contact through the phone. And also, I'm involved with Carers Together, like an organisation, because I'm a carer with my son with autism.
Right.
But they've been brilliant, helping me, like, to arrange, a bedside phone for that to keep in contact with us, or us to contact them rather than going to the hospital itself.
Yeah, it's just, it's all upside down. And to me, it's always been the best tonic you can have is your family calling in and booking your ideas up and saying, get yourself out of that bed and come home. We were waiting for you. And especially at this time of year, we've got the turkey for you, man. Hey, get out of there as quick as you can and come back to the family. That's what you need more than, well, you can't see him, you can't meet him, you can maybe give him a telephone call once. No. What's happened to human contact? That's what he needs.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I think it's like against all human rights myself, like with all this, but if needs be, it has to be done, you know what I mean? Got to go see the day through.
He'll be back for Christmas. I've got a good feeling about it.
Yeah. So I've had plenty of support anyway, Alan.
Good to hear. Thank you for coming on, darling. You take care.
Right, thanks very much. You take care. Stay safe.
Love to hear that as well. Bye-bye. 0191 488 3188.
Hey, everybody. This is Michael Bublé, right here on this program.
voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Okay, now it's time. Now we have a chance for you to win the Night Owls mug, and it is not alone, because you'll also get a chance to win a copy of my latest book, which is next door, Grizzly Tales from Northumbria. 160 stories of real-life tales of zombies. Yeah, they exist, and we'll prove it to you. And it's all of the stories from individuals who've seen, experienced, or gone through things in various parts of the northeast, from Scotland way down to the North Riding of Yorkshire. So if you fancy checking that out, tales of Viking daring do, there's a whole host of different things in there. Chillingham Castle, Winton Castle, a lot of our castle stories and why they're haunted and who's haunting them, all that kind of stuff. And if you're a bit of a ghost hunter and you want something to do in your spare time, as soon as we're set free, you can head out and have as many grisly trails to see these places as you can. There's little maps that will help you and guide you all the way. So you can have a number of picnic days out visiting amazing places with amazing stories. But that's there for you, waiting. I'm going to give you 4 clues. The answers will be 4 words, or maybe even more than a couple of words in each answer. And you've got to work out what song they all feature in. Okay? The first clue is this: a greatest hit for mud, or a stick of this could blow something up. A greatest hit for mud, or a stick of this could blow something up. A stick of what? Okay. Second clue, the capital of France. There you have it. Couldn't be an easier clue. The capital of France. Okay. 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come, and within an hour and 20 minutes, you will have all 4, so you can be a winner right here on the Night Owls programme. Okay, so make sure you do. Who's next? I think it is Christine, who's in Wallsend. Hi, Christine.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, my darling. What can we do for you tonight?
You mentioned about Christmas toys.
Yes. What do you consider to be the greatest of the Christmas toys?
Oh, well, when I was younger, my parents didn't really have much money, and my gran had a catalogue.
Right.
Now, I ticked everything in this catalogue as kids do.
Right.
You know, and but I was saying, let's get some things that I wanted, but and this year I thought, well, you know, as I got a bit older, I thought, I know I have been expecting so too much. So, I could never sleep. So it was 4:30. I got up Christmas morning.
Right.
And I saw a record player. Oh. You know, and
that's pretty good.
You know, and I just started to cry because I thought, you know, so I had opened all the little presents and went back to bed.
Right.
And then I had went to my grand's, and I had behind the door was a Bon Tempe organ.
Wow. Oh, that's something. Did you learn to play it properly?
Well, it took a lot of time, but, you know, yeah.
That's great. No, hey, that's a major kind of present, though, a Bon Tempe organ. Back in the day, everybody wanted one of them. That was amazing. Great present.
I mean, I wanted a drum kit, but I really thought it wasn't a good idea. So it got, you know.
Yeah, nice try. I think to be family friendly, I think a Bon Tempe is a little bit better than a full drum kit in the front room. That's for sure.
But you know, I saw 2 presents I didn't expect. You know,
yeah,
in 1 year.
Excellent. It's really good. I mean, the things. It's funny because when I was a kid, and I mean literally when I was about 9 or 10-year-old, my Uncle Bill used to stick a £5 in a Christmas card, and that was your present. And I was thrilled by that, very happy. When I was like 20 years on, 30 years on, while he was still with us, he still stuck a £5 in a card. He never. But I that was lovely. Because he never forgot.
That's it. I mean, because normally when you get older, they say, well, you're too old, you know, you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
You know.
It was good. I mean, for him, it was Old Spice. You know, the aftershave?
Yeah.
Every year I'd get him a bottle of that, and he was quite happy with it. And in return, he probably gave me the price of a bottle of Old Spice in a Christmas card. But the fact was, we never forgot each other, and that's what the whole family thing is.
That's it, you know. It's not so much. It's, you know, it's the thought that.
Well, people forget that that's the main point. You know, I think they think, well, I've got to get what my daughter or my son wants, and that's got to be better than what my next door neighbour's son and daughter want. A lot of it just seems to be for show, and that's the wrong end of the stick. But maybe it's always been like that. I never ever had a bike in my life, never owned a bike, and I would see other people who could afford it, and I was jealous as hell. So there's always going to be people that end up with more, and sadly some people that will end up with less than you. That's the world all over, isn't it?
That's it. I mean, when I was with my parents, they sort of, they saved like all year. They never bought each other at Christmas so they could buy me. You know, and
that's
it's sort of.
No, that's sweet. That is sweet. I always felt sorry for my dad because all he ever got for Christmas was he used to love those nuts that you hit with a hammer. You know, the box of different nuts. And he'd spend all afternoon hacking away with a hammer on the fireplace to get into these damn things. A couple of pairs of socks, and it was hankies. Who, you know, well, you kind of get excited by socks and a hanky. Sometimes slippers. About every 5 years he got slippers, and it was like, well, even if it wasn't Christmas, you'd have to have slippers, you know, or socks and stuff. It seems all of the excitement. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all over the north there are parents that have had amazing presents off their kids. If so, ring me. Tell me what they were. I'd love to hear those stories. So, what are you going to treat yourself with this year then, Christine?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not feeling too well, and I haven't thought about Christmas.
No. You not got a tipple or something to eat that you're looking forward to that you don't normally have?
I've got heart failure and I've been very ill, and I just don't know.
I'm just taking it careful.
You know, at the minute I'm just, you know, with everything that's going on, I'm not sure about having my mum, and at the minute it was like, but with everything that's going on, and
right,
you know, because I normally have just my mum,
You're just taking it easy and seeing where it goes. I don't blame you for that. Hey, well, stay well. Good luck to you, Christine. And thank you for coming on and sharing. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Bye-bye. Damn, Sharon, there's a lot of people got issues. And obviously with any virus going around, you've got to be super, super careful under those circumstances. We wish her well. Julie is with us, and she is in Darlington. Hello, Julie.
Hi, Alan. You all right?
Hello, I am very well. Thank you kindly for asking. I hope you and your family are well too. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, it's just, you know, when you were doing the introduction, something you said struck a bit of a chord or whatever. You said this, you know, this Chancellor who had so many millions.
Yes.
And how can they be expected to really understand, or, you know, they're in a position where
ordinary people,
they have to look after the poor.
Yeah, for sure.
And how can they possibly do it? Well, I think my answer to that question is they don't. They don't. You know, that's why you've got people committing suicide, because the benefits are stopped for the silliest of reasons.
Yeah.
And then they try and, you know, appeal and talk, and they just get ignored. You know, they're just ignoring the. Which is absolutely ridiculous, but this is what's happening.
And we're hearing just today that the Chancellor is being encouraged by other MPs to hold back from putting taxes up. Now, my question is, are there enough people still working in this country to put tax in, you know, in the kitty? Because the amount of firms that have hit the wall, and the amount of self-employed companies that have disappeared, and you obviously can't. It's not as easy to claim benefit now as it once was. Who's going to be? Everybody that is still working will have a lower wage because we're going to all have to pay for this whole COVID mess and the aftermath, and Brexit's coming. And we've just been told today as well that we get, apparently, 52% of our energy from Europe, and if there's a no-deal Brexit, they'll just shut it off. So therefore, we'll have power cuts. We'll only be able to have our electricity on for... because we had power cuts in the 70s, I seem to recall, and just all the power went off. No TV, no radio, no nothing.
Yeah, so, I don't know how they'll pay. They could pay for it by taxing the rich, the people that can afford it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts. But
yeah, but you got to remember that would be him taxing his own wife with a £430 million.
Well, exactly, but if there's nobody else left to tax, then, that's probably the only option, but he won't do it.
No, and the other thing is...
bottom dollar, he won't do it.
Well, you see what's happened in America, where they've found Donald Trump's tax records, and for something like all of his time in office, he's only paid the same amount of tax that your average taxi driver would have paid, and yet he's supposed to have earned millions and millions and millions of pounds because he's got accountants that, frankly,
clever accountants,
tweak and frankly fiddle. And I think after he leaves office, hopefully he'll be prosecuted. But the rich are rich because they don't lose their money to having to pay huge amounts of tax. They have it in overseas accounts or whatever. They'll find a way to avoid paying the money.
Yeah.
And yet they'll chase people who have got nothing for every damn penny that they owe. And that's where the two sides are. The rich stay richer, the poor get poorer. It's how it's always been. And it was a disgrace then. It's more of a disgrace now because they know what they're doing.
I would say so, yeah. It's like the DWP. I mean, if you owe them any money, they'll hound you. They owe you something.
Absolutely.
They don't want to know.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I don't
ignored,
I don't see how chasing somebody that's got nothing, who then ultimately goes to court and says, "Well, I can pay £1 a week because I'm only on PIP or whatever." I don't see how spending like £500 in a month chasing somebody for who's going to get £1 a month when behind an office door in London there's people with billions just protecting it and making sure that they don't have to pay a penny, and it's all to hell. They'd certainly find more money if they looked higher up the ladder than they are. That's for sure.
It's like pints, I make it. All the DWP sort of refusing money when they should be paying it out, and then the person takes it to, you can take it to the county court and so on and so forth. Well, if you just paid the money in the first place, because look at all the taxpayers' money it costs for judges, to take the administration, to take things to the courts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just, it just beggars belief, really.
Yeah, but you see, if you add to that...
wasting money left, right and centre.
We've always kind of said this world that we live in is kind of a them and us, the haves and the have-nots. And yet it's the judges, barristers, solicitors that make the money because they get paid for going into court to chase Tom, Dick and Harry for he still owes £85 that he should have paid back over. But they're making thousands on the back of it. So
but still,
they're not going to change a thing.
Money that could be going to better use,
No, absolutely. There's no question.
I know what you mean.
But they'll not change because the solicitors will want to keep them cases coming in because it's ka-ching every time, isn't it? That's the
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
I don't know.
Whinge. Let's whinge a bit more.
Whinge. Yeah.
Anything else then? Julie, anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I'm still doing my soap.
Oh, that's good. Hey, but what's the best Christmas present you've ever had as a kid then? What was yours choice?
Best one?
Yeah.
I think a train set. One year I'm a girly girl, but I just had a fancy for a train set, and I mean, my dad was enthralled. I sold it in the end, but I enjoyed it on the day.
Yeah, because I never wanted a train set, and in one year I got one, but it wasn't because I wanted one. For the next 6 months, my dad was adding bits to it and building stations and getting little people to wave flags at the trackside. And I'm thinking, Dad, I can't stand trains. I've never wanted a train set. Oh no, you'll get to like it. You'll get to like it. And I didn't, but he loved it, absolutely. He had it on a big lump of hardboard that slid under the bed, so he didn't have to keep building it every time he put it out,
Yeah, but for the presents I used to get when I was little, my dad always it was always Old Spice.
Yeah.
And Grandad was always Brill Cream, because he used to have, his hair slicked back with Brill Cream.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I can remember when I was a little lad. You've just broken a memory for me. My dad once dragged me, because I've always been a hairy boy, and I was dragged to the barber shop, and my dad sat me down. I'd be about probably 12, and just starting to get really long hair at the hippie days. And my dad says, "Give him a haircut then." And I said to the guy, I says, "Can you just take off about half an inch? Get rid of me split ends. Just take off about half an inch." And he got one of those. He didn't even use scissors. He just went over the top of my head. I had a number one and ended up wearing a woolly hat for about 3 months till it grew back in. But at the end of it, the guy said to me, "Do you want some Brill Cream, son?" And I didn't even know what it was. And my dad says, "Aye, give him some Brill Cream." And he just slapped this gunk on my head. And even if it wasn't long enough, to wave in the breeze. But even if it could have, it wouldn't, because it was solid. I had a solid head for a while. Bizarre.
Oh, dear.
Hey, happy days. Happy days, Lord. Anything else, Julie?
No, I don't think so. I was going to sing, but I think I'll give it a pass. I don't know what to sing, and...
well, no worries.
Maybe next time.
Good to hear from you anyway. Thank you, Julie.
All right. Thanks very much.
Cheers, love. Bye-bye. There you go. And some people say, "Oh, no, she should have." Others people say, "Oh, a narrow escape." 0191 488 3188. What are you going to talk about tonight? Now, have a listen to this. Easter has been a bad, bad boy. They talk about the naughty list? Easter will be on it. He says, "Alan, last Christmas, I had a wagon pull up outside. A bloke got out with a Santa hat on, knocked on my door and said, 'Ho, ho, ho, here's your chest freezer. Do you want it the back way?' I said, 'It's not mine, mate.' He said, 'Are you number 51? I said, 'Yes.' So he brought it round the back and he left it in my kitchen. And again he said, 'Ho, ho, ho,' on his way out, obviously in a bit of a hurry to finish work. I gave it a couple of hours and then sold it for half the shop price and never heard another word. However, the bloke at 59 had the exact same package delivered to his house 2 days later." Ha ha ha. Naughty, naughty, naughty. And how many other people have done that with missed deliveries and stuff? There you go. And David and Julie says, "My wife has just bought me your new book for Christmas. Can't wait to read it. As paranormal investigators, it's going to be right up our street." Thanks, mate. David and Julie. It absolutely will be. And it'll give you a lot of ideas and places to go. No question about that. And thank you for your kindness. 0191 488 3188. Let us go to Sue, who is in Washington. Hi, Sue.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, darling. What you got this week for us?
Well, last week you was on about the little things that annoy you.
Yes, irritating things, yeah.
Yeah. Now, with what's going on, the 2 metre thing, right, me and my husband will go out for a little walk with the dog. I've got my 2 sticks.
Right.
And there's little, paths that aren't really that wide.
Right.
Well, me and my husband walk in single file anyway, because I'm quite slow, so I'm, way behind him. And, but there's people come the opposite way, and they'll walk, together, side by side.
Right.
And I'm like, are they going to go single file so we can get past sensibly? No, they won't. I have to go up on the mud, on the wet grass and that. And, and they just went, and really gets on my good.
Yeah. No, I say that
Um,
kind of thing all the time. The other thing, and I don't know whether this has ever happened, we're talking about irritating things. You're in a shop and you know what you want. It's at the end of that avenue and you're heading down it and there's a couple in front of you walking quite fast. And then you're right behind them walking quite fast too, thinking, oh, this is quite a quick avenue. Happy, I'm on this aisle. Quick. Then all of a sudden they'll just stop and you find yourself trying to do an emergency stop without bumping into the back of them. Yeah. And then you got to do the excuse me thing and walk around the side of them. But, there's a lot of... I don't know whether it's just this whole lockdown. It's got us all on edge. It's got us all raggy about stuff.
Well, it wouldn't bother me normally, but, and I'm a woman of a certain age, and I don't care what I say, and I let them know what I think.
Yeah.
And I shouted to them, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? But also in supermarkets, when you're standing in a queue at the till, and they get all the shopping, and why aren't they, while they're waiting, why aren't they getting the purse out of the bag ready? No, they wait until the very end, and then they're digging in the bag, and you think, I just want to get out,
Oh, and something else in the queue as well. You've just reminded me about something that irritated me this week. A woman who wouldn't come off her telephone even though she was at the checkout.
That's rude as well.
Oh, and she's going, well, I'm at the checkout. I know you are. Pay your bloody money. Yeah. And the woman saying to her, have you got a bag? And she's going, hang on a second. Have I got a what? Have you got you just, how you bite your tongue in such a... But you see, if this wasn't lockdown, you'd think, poor old soul, let her get on. I say old soul. It's probably about 40, 45 at the last. But, it's just irritating. And it's ignorant, talking about ignorant being bliss. That was ignorant. Because you're there to do a transaction. At least show the person behind the counter a little bit of respect.
But they would be the first ones who would complain if one cashier was talking to another cashier.
Yes.
And not concentrating on them. They would be the first to, have a go, It really annoys us. And through this lockdown since the very beginning, because people aren't at work, dog owners especially, when they're at work, their dogs go to dog sitters, dog walkers. And because we've seen a lot of different dogs about, but also lots of dog mess where they just don't bother to pick it up.
Yeah.
I hate that. And you think, what does your dog walker do? You pay them to take your dog for a walk. They'd pick up the dog's mess, why can't you do it?
No, for sure.
I've witnessed it, and if it wasn't for the lockdown, I would have gone over and said, here you go, here's a bag, pick it up.
Yeah.
But you can't do that now.
No, it's just wrong. Another one, here's another one for you, Sue, and I bet you've come across this. This happened to me in Lidl 3 days ago. I was in getting a baguette. That was all, just wanted a baguette. And I was standing on, and you know how when they've only got one till on, there's a geet long queue because there's loads of people. So there was a really long queue, but I was next up and I only had a baguette. So this was literally 30p gone. And this couple were at the front. And you know how they say when you're in a shop, especially during lockdown, don't touch anything that you're not going to buy. They said, if you're not going to buy it, don't touch it. Because we don't want to spread anything just in case you can pass your COVID back, because they still don't really know. But anyway, this woman was ordering her man, Pip, don't put that there. Empty the shopping out again. I want the tins at the bottom, So she's telling this guy, and the queue, there's probably about 15 to 20 people in the queue. So then she says, oh, hang on, I need a bag, but I want one of your strong plastic bags. Well, in Lidl, they're under the counter where you're waiting. You've got to go right down the queue. So, ignoring social distancing completely, she pushed past me and she pushed past the 2 or 3 people behind me, and she's putting her hand under the counter. First of all, she touched all of the like wicker work, not wicker work, like sackcloth bags.
Yeah.
And then she went to the super strong bags for life, and she touched all of them. And then she touched the plastic bags at the end, picked up about 20 of them, and then picked one out of the middle and then put them all back. Then walked past us all again up to the top, and then ordered them to empty out what was in the bag that the guy had already packed so he could put it in the plastic bag.
Oh,
By which time we all wanted to hang the woman. It didn't quite come to that, but you could, under people's breath, you could go, oh, for sake, what the... Well, there was a lot of grinding of teeth going on there. And
you could have all been swearing under your masks. They wouldn't have known.
I think that was definitely happening. And then you know what happens. Then the woman over the tannoy goes, opening up till number 4. And of course, because I'm already up the till, everybody else with the trolleys gets there before me, and I'm still waiting behind this annoying double act.
You know what I would do? I would have just said, you've only got the one thing, you just go in front of me. I would have stood back and let you pass. Yeah, and also the Christmas, like toys and that.
Yes.
I don't think, we only had, as kids, if there was something that new that come on telly and that we said, oh, we'd like that, we would get it, and that was we never lost out. If we wanted something, my dad would, do his damnedest to get it for us.
Yeah, sure.
And I cannot really think of a toy that I really, really liked. But whatever we asked for, we got. My first record player was like a box where you pulled the lid up.
Yeah, the speaker was in the lid.
Yeah.
I remember those, yeah.
That was really... And then as things went on, inventions got better. I had a stack one, where you got the... With the
amplifier and a tuner and all of that, your cassette players.
That was mint. But it's funny because I was talking to my mum yesterday, and I'd said we'd get in, because my niece had her first baby in September. So I said, I've got him a little present for his birthday, and it's like a pop thing where you press the top and the balls like jump up and down and that, And that reminded us, I said, oh, Mum, we had a spinning top. When you pressed it, it was like a metal thing.
Yeah.
You pressed the top.
And you pushed it down and down and down and down again until you got a spin going.
But that was made of metal.
Right.
God, imagine if you give that to the kids these days.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it nowadays, would they? That sort of thing.
No, I wouldn't.
But I think the simplest toys. The more you give children now, the more they want.
Right. Mind you,
know what I mean?
I do remember when I was a kid, I wanna was probably a lot of what I said to my mother. I wanna this, I wanna that, Yeah. But I didn't get. That was the difference. The difference now, people say they want now, and we'll add it to your list, and they end up getting a lot. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. If I was a kid, I'd be loving it, but it's just, where does it end? If you keep spending, if you pay 120 quid this year, do you pay 200 next year?
God. Well, when my daughter was little, I hold my hands up. We did spoil her. And we've got videos with the Christmas trees piled nearly to the top of presents.
Right.
But she's our only daughter, and we did spoil her. We spent a hell of a lot of money on her.
Right.
But not now. We do.
No.
Not now. It's just you just can't do it, can you? You have to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
I used to buy my niece presents and said, no, look, now you've got the baby, we'll just concentrate on the baby, You just cannot do it.
No, it's difficult, though, because I do think there's pressure on you, and especially once you've started to take it up, to take it up a notch and say, hey, well, we've had a few rough years. This year I'm going to get the banner, and it's something big, like a bike or a PS5. Some people are buying the new PlayStation, whatever.
You can't get the PS5 now.
How do you top it? Well, people are desperate for them. They're waiting.
I know.
They're ready for it.
You can't seem to get them. But the other thing I wanted to ask you the other week as well, and I forgot all about it.
Yeah, what's that?
Who would you really, really like to interview? Who would be the best person to interview?
The one that I wanted that I didn't get a chance to do was actually Fred Astaire. You know, the old-fashioned dancer, singer.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of movies. It was just that when he traveled, because he's a European immigrant to America, his real name was Frederick Austerlitz. And for someone to go to America as an immigrant with nothing, and he literally had no money, no major skill, and he wasn't a good-looking guy by any stretch. He was slightly balding, skinny fella. For him to, within like 10 to 15 years, be considered the most elegant man in Hollywood, I just think that how the hell did he do that? And yet he did. He had a fascinating life. I would have liked to have interviewed him, and the other one would have been John Lennon. I've managed to interview Ringo, Paul, and George, but John Lennon was sadly passed. So I would have loved to have interviewed John Lennon because he was acid, yet he was incredibly clever. His lyrics are amazing. I would have loved to have interviewed John, definitely.
Well, me, I would like to hear you do an interview with Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
I love Piers Morgan. He's straight to the point. On the breakfast TV the other day, he was asking one of the politicians, and he was going, but are you going to have a pay rise? Yes or no? And he just wouldn't answer him. He says, I want a simple yes and no. I'd like you to interview him and a debate on ghosts, maybe. That would be interesting.
Yeah, hey, you never know. It might just happen. Lovely talking to you, Sue. Thanks for coming on again.
Can I just give a shout out to Auntie Jenny if she's listening?
Auntie Jenny. Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Thanks again, love.
Thanks, Alan.
Take care. Bye-bye. It's the Night Owls. Time for a quick tune. And we might as well go for a guy who's got a new album out this week, too.
Hi there, this is Cliff Richard, and you are with Alan on Night Owls.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
It's the Night Owls. Now, just noticed that in our, we've got like a comments thing down the side of our screen when you're watching on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And somebody used the F word and a C word, and they weren't blanked out like they're supposed to be. So Tony actually had to go somewhere to make sure that those words were blank. Bottom line is, we've all heard the words before, whether they're nice or they're nasty. Bottom line is, if you use them in a stream, you've got no class at all. And I know that these streams get you annoyed and irritated. And if the people don't believe what you believe, they're obviously wrong, so you can swear at them. Just don't. Rise above it. People are entitled to... You see, it's only under lockdown conditions that we don't have free speech. Free speech means that people will tell you all the things that you hate, because that's what free speech is. You don't have to agree. You just respect other people's views and crack on, whatever your view is. 0191 488 3188. At least that's what grown-ups do. Anyway, let's crack on. One day I will be a grown-up too. Carl from Newcastle. Hello, Carl.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Thank you for coming on. What do you want to talk about tonight, then?
Well, it's the same topics as everything in the city, isn't it? At the moment, it's all over the place with the COVID.
Right.
But I think what a lot of people are making a mistake of, Alan, is that rather than just coming together and just being able to have a rational discussion,
yeah,
it's just like you've just hit the nail on the head there. It's about I don't agree with what you said, so it's hate speech, and it's just because it doesn't line up with your beliefs, it doesn't mean that it's not. It's not the truth, or
Absolutely.
It's not a version of the truth that's your opinion. It's freedom of speech. It's been said all night, and this is what's causing a lot of the problems in the streets as well. It's this mentality of, look, just swallow everything that BBC, Sky News, CNN swallow everything they say, and don't go and do your own research to come to a logical decision or opinion
Sure.
that you can put across. And
But do you not think that the longer we're locked down and the longer that this whole dance continues, and I mean, there's no doubt to anybody that COVID exists. It would be stupid to say that it doesn't. We know it's a virus. We know it kills people like all viruses do, and like the next virus will, and the virus we had last year did. So we know that. We understand it. Why are people not prepared to listen to the other side? I mentioned that people are ragier now about stuff. Maybe it's just because we've all been held down for so long.
Yeah, well, like it's procrastination, isn't it? We've had all this time on our hands to just sit on my hands and think about things and wait for Boris to come on, like it's the Hunger Games. You're waiting for that big screen to come on and fill you with whatever information that they're trying to give you. But the internet being the blessing and the curse that it is, we're also open to all these other opinions.
Sure.
Now, obviously, we've all heard of the likes of David Icke and so on, and people are like, okay, yeah, he's a bit of a crackpot. He talks about these reptilians and so on, and yes, it's a way off the map. But there is certain aspects of truth that he brings to the table. So there was in the first lockdown, he put a video on the TikTok saying, "Look, why have we been told that the outside world hospitals are made out to be like these zombie land, war zone type places, but you've got doctors and nurses every day releasing TikTok videos of them dancing and singing in empty, clean hospitals?"
Yes.
So it's got to any rational mind, it's got to say to you, well, hold on a minute, that's true. These aren't fake doctors and nurses. These are real doctors and nurses. And I was personally in the hospital with my son over the first lockdown because the stupid plonker fell off his bike and split his head open.
Oh, is he all right?
Oh, he's fine. There's not much knocks and sense into that kid.
Right, as long as he's all right.
But I was in there myself, and I thought, this is going to be a good eye-opener for me to actually see what the hospitals are like.
Sure, because you'd be able to see them wheeling the thousands of patients in on trolleys.
There was 4 people in the A&E.
Right.
Literally 4 people. That was it.
Right.
And in the paediatrics part, there was 2, and one of them was me.
Right.
There was 6 doctors, 6 nurses sitting behind the desk, relaxing, drinking tea and coffee, chatting about the TV.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. I've got no problem with that at all.
No, but
You're
it's
there.
not the picture we're being told when we switch the news on. Because during the first and second lockdown, the beginning of the second lockdown, a nurse from Cranlington Hospital rang in saying, it's not a problem here at all. We've only got one person in the ward.
Well, that's another interesting comment you made as well there, Alan, is that when I said before about that video that David Icke had brought the attention of people, that video within the space of 48 hours had been took down by TikTok.
Yes.
And then, subsequently, the weeks coming to that, there wasn't one single video of a doctor or a nurse doing a dance or a sing video on TikTok at all.
Right.
And I think when we're seeing these broadcasts from the government, I think it's just, for our own sense, we've got to say, okay, we're hearing Boris and Matt Hancock, which he shouldn't even have his job. He should have quit a long time ago. Saying X, Y, or Z. Our representative has said this, has said that.
Yeah.
But we never actually see the doctors or nurses that's on the front lines out there saying, look, this is what's happening. We never see an interview from those people. And I think that's because I know myself, midwives and nurses, and in the background they're being told keep stum.
Yeah.
No talking about it, no going on social media saying our hospital's this. There's lots more videos popping up now going, right, look, this, like secret videos of inside the hospital wards.
Yeah.
And they're empty.
I was asking I was in to see a nurse this week about diabetes and similar, because I'm trying to get off the tablets as quick as I can. And I asked her about it. I says, have you been overwhelmed? She says, no, I haven't seen hardly anybody with COVID. And I'm thinking, but a lot of people have got COVID. The government's telling us every day. And she says, well, not in this area. And you think, well, surely
why we're locked down then?
If this is as massive as everybody says, and obviously it's a horrible damn thing, and we don't want anybody to suffer from it. We don't want anybody to die of anything related to it. And she says, people don't die of COVID. You die of something else, while COVID's made you more vulnerable to it. So you die of COPD or pneumonia or even flu. You die of something else. So why are they putting it, if that's true, that you cannot die of COVID, why is everybody listed as dying of COVID?
Well, I think that's the big question, isn't it? And that's kind of what everyone's missing, that there's something going on in the background that we're not being told about. And I think in some ways it's a lot like a distraction, Alan. So we'll have, it's real, there's no question. I'm not denying that.
But are they using it to completely hide the whole Brexit dance? Is that what it's about? Because that wouldn't explain America, Russia, Brazil, all the other countries that are going through the same dance.
Well, yeah, I suppose I don't know the full ins and outs of that, but when I just look at little bits that I've been looking at through the whole pandemic scene, then the only people that's really benefited quickly from this is the likes of China. They're the only ones that's bounced back as fast and as securely and reopened everything again, and the economy's booming again. So we've got to think there's some kind of economic sort of bounce back there for them, or advantage.
Right.
Because I think, personally, that this war is psychological and economical.
Right.
It's because the only two things that seem to constantly crop up is the mental health of society these days.
Yeah.
The deaths of suicide and everything. Not that they haven't been there before, it's just they're more kind of pronounced now.
Sure.
And everybody, just like what we've discussed, people saying, people starting to argue with each other, and it's becoming a segregated society. When we're not all together, we're being pushed apart by this opinion.
Absolutely, yeah,
and
I agree with
the
that.
economical, we all know, because everybody's losing the job. I lost the job I was in 21 years. My dad's just lost the job that he was in for nearly 15, 16 years. All on the same thing. COVID shutting you down, and the misinformation. And we all know, everyone talks about it, the media. And I think Denzel Washington said it best in the little interview he did. And it was, he said, if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. But if you read the news, you're misinformed.
Right.
And
well said.
basically, the press don't care what information they put out there, if it's true, who it hurts, what it does, as long as they're first.
Right.
And I like that. I like that point of view that he said, and I think it's
wise.
It's more true, because it's just. I remember not long ago, BBC had done an announcement, and Matt Hancock, all those guys were on, and they put this chart up on the screen, and the death line was above what the baseline line was.
Right.
And I was really annoyed by this, and I thought, bollocks, I'm going to go to the shop and get a bottle of wine.
It came to that. It came to that.
I was shaking, Alan. I was sweating and everything. I thought, I've got to go. So I went along, and as I walked into the shop, they had the big screen on.
Right.
Now, the same BBC chart that was just shown 10 minutes ago, the death line was under that line, and it was under 600 deaths.
Right.
Now, I thought, how can the same chart from the same people broadcasting show two different things in the space of 10 minutes?
Yeah, right.
And
I've always had the feeling, though, that most of these people are just making a damn thing up as they go along. It's not coming from a place of knowledge.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was like the first, Matt Hancock's first bunch of numbers and stuff that he first set out. And I remember it was Theresa May on one of the broadcasts said, why is it that you're still using the same model for this lockdown as you did the last lockdown?
Yeah.
And the numbers are so incorrect that if it was true, we would have about 1,000 people a day minimum right now dying, and they're not. We're nowhere near.
No. Not close, not close. Yeah, but this is the other thing, though. The numbers have never added up. We broadcast to a lot of hospitals, and none of them have said we're overwhelmed or close to it. And the people that work there do keep me informed about what's going on. It's not like they're keeping it... oh, hang on a second. Somebody's just... A caller's rang in, anonymous caller. Let me just read this to you. Maybe you have a view on it. It says... this caller has a point of view about nurses doing TikTok videos. At the start of the crisis, the hospital was like a ghost town because people were too afraid to come in. People with long-standing health concerns, mind you, too afraid to get looked after. But it's getting more back to normal now as people are starting to come back in. So, does that make sense?
It does, but it does from just a first hearing point of view. But but then you've got to think about what the government's still telling you: don't go to hospitals.
Yes.
Unless you know what I mean. Go to your pharmacist, your doctor, so on first. So that contradicts it. How can you say it's getting back to normal because people are getting back to normal and coming back in when they didn't go in the first place because they were told by the government not to go in?
Sure.
They're getting turned away by security, but now they're being told still the same, but it's getting to normal.
Yeah, to me, it's only normal when you can start to see your doctor, when you can go and book an appointment at your dentist to get a checkup again, because I can't remember the last time dentists actually did what dentists are for. Do you know what I mean? We're a long way short of normal at the moment, I think.
Well, this is even down to your basic. If you pick the medication from the doctors or from the pharmacist. My mother-in-law, hers at the moment, the monthly prescription, she's had to go back nearly 2-3 days in a row because the stuff's not there. the medication's not there.
Right.
So they're making people, by not having a sense of normality, saying, okay, people, get on with life, you accept the risks. We've got this vaccine now, so it's literally only a time before we start giving you it, which, to be honest, sorry, I'm not very good at pronunciation. What's the pronunciation of that? The company that they've got, Pfizer.
Yeah,
Is it
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
Those guys, I saw a post the other day that they've been kicked out of 20 countries, including India, up to now, because they're not happy, and there's been other issues with different medication that company's provided.
Yeah, well, also just recently, they brought test results out, and they said 95% of people will be, protected by this vaccine, and then about 24 hours later, they said, hang on, somebody's had a close look at the figures, and they did 2 studies. One was 95 and one was 65. Now, if you put those 2 together, that doesn't give you 95% average. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but it's a damn sight lower than that. So then they said, oh, well, hang on, we're going to do more tests. And they'd only done, I think it was 280 tests at the time, so which in the grand scheme of things is nothing. And how will that affect you in a year's time or 2 years' time or 3 years' time? We don't know. We're guessing again. It's just, why do they want us to have the injection? What is it about the injection that they want? Are they still just chasing our DNA, which the original tests were taking without our consent?
Well, this is it, isn't it? And it's kind of the transparency that they're not giving us about that. Because just when you were talking about the 65% and the 95%, I believe what I picked up from that topic was when they give the one dose to that population, then they've got a 65% success rate. But for whatever reason, they decided to give another dose seven days later, and that made it up to
95%. Right.
Or 95%, sorry.
Yeah.
But then just what you've said there, why on earth would you want to give a population that this virus only affects 1%, let's say?
Yeah.
Why would you? What is the need?
Yeah, why give 99% vaccine for something that will probably never bother them more than a sniffle? And yes, we understand that people with health issues, they need to be protected and looked after and all of that. But you see, this is the same government who tell us we need desperately to protect these people, who told all of the people that were in care homes, don't go to hospital, don't go to your doctor, come back and see us in 12 weeks' time. Good luck, hope you make it. I mean, they wrote them off right from the beginning, which was heinous.
But realistically as well, though, Alan, from the beginning of all this, if they hadn't have mentioned this in the first place, would we really have even known?
Well, there you go. There you go.
That's the whole.
Yeah,
that's the whole point, isn't it? It's
that's
like
the crux,
it's
right
like
there.
if you tell a child or something that, oh look, you've got a scab on your leg or something and it hurts. Just because you know it's there, you're gonna turn to it.
No, absolutely. I get it, Carl. Must move on, though, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
Lovely talking to you.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. Oh, let's have some superstars. Why don't we? I think it's about time.
Hi, this is John Bon Jovi hanging out with Alan Robson.
Hi, I'm Richie Sambora, and you're rocking with Alan. You can write songs from many, many different perspectives. You can write songs from, how you're feeling at the moment, momentarily. You can write songs from your memories. I happen to have a pretty good emotional memory, and I can pull those emotions out and take a look at them and be able to convey them. Also, you can write it from a point of the observer, a compassionate look at maybe people who are not as fortunate as you are, possibly, or it's just like it's almost like a musical journalist or a musical novelist in certain, because there's a lot of great novelists out there that write wonderful books that they don't have to exactly live the novel,
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can write.
Bells will be
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now it's time for the third clue that could win you one of our Night Owl mugs. Ta-da! Win a Night Owl mug and get to those telephones. And you can also get a copy of my latest book, which is Grizzly Tales from Northumbria by me. 160 tales of gore, essentially. It's not really for little kids, man. I do warn you, it's fairly graphic. And a lot of the stories have been updated and new stories put in. So there's a whole host of good stuff in there. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Right, okay, let's get cracking. 3 clues. You will end up with 4. As soon as you hear the 4th clue, race to those telephones and give Chris a call on 0191 488 3188 to be a winner. The first clue. A greatest hit for mud or a stick of this could blow something up. Second clue. The capital of France. The capital of France. Third clue. This French lady who was beheaded in the French Revolution. When they said there was no bread for ordinary people, she said, let them eat cake. What was the name of the French lady who was beheaded during the French Revolution? Her full name is in this song. What's her name? 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come. The book, the mug, yours if you are geet clever as oot. Okay, that is the deal. Let us move on and we will talk next to Greg, who's in Cambridge. Hi, Greg.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
How are you doing?
It's a big night in Cambridge tonight. Second caller of the same.
Believe it. It is the night of the Southern Jetties, Alan.
Oh, is that what it is? Right, I'm with you.
Well, if you can remember the fella who called maybe a couple of hours before, Tom from Cambridge?
Yes, of course. Uh-huh.
I'm his twin brother, Greg.
Hey, so you're half Geordie too.
I sure am, and I'm very proud to be. In fact, I have a short story that our grandparents used to tell us anytime that we would be up in the northeast, birthdays, Christmases, bar mitzvahs, school holidays, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My grandparents, they used to be members of a very popular, I think it was called the Sammy Swallows Swimming Club. Does that ring a bell to you?
Sammy Swallows, yes, definitely.
Well, back in, I think it was 1979, they were going into the jacuzzi, and they happened to meet a very young Paul Gascoigne.
Right.
And so they got to talking to him because obviously they knew who he was, and they said, "So what are you going to do with all of this coin that you're making, all of this money that you're making? What are you going to do with it?" And good old Gaza said, "Well, I think I'm going to buy me mum a nice big house."
Sounds like the boy.
We used to love that story. They used to tell us that story sort of over and over again for many years, and we used to love to hear that over and over again. And that's a little brush with fame that I've always been so proud that my family has had.
Paul's a good lad. I've been lucky to meet him a few times. We've done a few charity things together, but I wouldn't trust him in a jacuzzi, mind. He's the type that would whittle. I'm sorry to say it, but he is.
Well, I've been in a few jacuzzis as well, and I won't tell you how much I whittled as well. But, I was born in 1985, so I don't know.
He was special talent, was Gaza. Nice,
he's a good guy, isn't he? He's a good bloke.
Solid.
But actually, I was also wondering how is your jogging going?
Good. Well, it's better than it was. I suffered a bit of a knee injury that held me back. Didn't stop me jogging. I kind of ran.
Right.
I ran through it, but it's completely gone now. So I'm like the wind.
No, that's good. No, that's good because I was really because me and my twin brother we started walking / jogging quite a lot recently.
That's good. That's what I mean. Apparently, for your fitness, you really only need to walk quickly. You don't don't dawdle, but if you walk quickly, you're getting as much out of it as you would if you were running. So
yes, no,
either
exactly.
of those is good.
No, I was reading a lot of articles recently which said that walking is the one of the best exercises that any human being can do if you have the use of your legs, which I mean not everybody has, but it's a very underrated form of exercise. It's the kind of thing that you can do that you don't even know that you're doing. And me and my brother, we went up to Newcastle in August,
right?
To sort of hang around, sort of where our family used to hang around. And every day we woke up and we thought, well, what should we do? It's 20 degrees. It looks like a nice day. We can see St. Mary's Lighthouse in the distance. Let's just go walking.
Yeah.
And we clocked up like thousands and thousands of steps by sort of not even thinking about it.
Sure.
And we sort of blew ourselves away. We were like, wow, so it was so easy just to
well, it's just
go out of our home.
If you're in a place like, if you like it on the coast anywhere in the north, it's so easy just to go walking and you see, look, I mean, up to the St. Mary's Lighthouse, you come back past Whitley Bay, you go through Cullercoats to Tynemouth.
Yeah,
it's a really long way when you think about it, and yet you do it and you don't even feel it. That's the joy, though. If you're thinking about it and you're miserable about it and thinking, oh, I don't want to go all this way, then you've lost it before you even start.
Yeah. I think it's all, when it comes to sort of exercise and like burning calories, it's all sort of psychological. When like me and my brother, we went up to Newcastle in August. What was the hotel we were staying at? I don't know if you're allowed to mention.
I don't care. Go for it.
They are the Park Hotel, which is right by the coast.
Yes.
And we just woke up every morning. We just looked out of our hotel window, and we were like, "Do you know what? Let's just go for a walk." And it was absolutely brilliant because back in August, which for most of us feels like about 20 years ago. Down in Cambridge, it was about 34 degrees. And we kind of felt like sort of climate refugees coming up to Whitley Bay and then seeing, it's only 20 degrees today.
Yeah. They've got air up here. They've
got we felt like the cleverest people in the whole world.
Right.
We were like, it's 34 degrees back where we live, and it's 20 degrees up here. We felt like kings among men, Alan.
Well, in fairness, though, there'd be an awful lot of people in the 20 degrees thinking, but I wish it was 34. But you see, we're the sort of folk in the north, because we're not used to the hot stuff. And when the hot stuff comes, we go, I like it hot, but this is too hot. And then they've all got to go inside.
It's all relative, you know. I mean, we all sort of grew up like in our village, in our towns, and we're like, well, this is pretty hot where I come from. But we felt like two Albert Einsteins who had transported themselves to another galaxy.
Right. Well, you're always welcome in this galaxy. Got to move on, Greg, but thank you for calling. Great to hear from you and your bro.
Take it easy, my friend.
Thanks for sharing. Bye-bye. Shalom. 0191 488 3188. Whatever you want to talk about, pick up your telephone and do a bit of sharing. We got 3 clues down, couple of spoilers on the comments thing. Do try and keep it to yourself. The more people you tell answers to, the more people that could win, which means you won't. 0191 488 3188. Let's crack on. We have Alex, who is in Chopwell. Hello, Alex.
How you doing, Alan? All right?
I'm good, man. Thank you kindly. Thanks for ringing as well. What are you talking about tonight?
I just want to continue. The guy that was on a couple of callers ago, he was basically talking about what's happening and stuff, and he seems to be quite alert to what's going on, doesn't he?
He's genned up. He's been doing his research. What about you then? Where do you stand on it all then?
Oh, I'm just as usual. I kind of agree with what he's saying, a lot of what you're saying as well, and what a lot of most people are saying at the minute.
So what's happening up in Chopwell? Chopwell's such a tight community.
Well, it's just, I don't know anyone that's got this thing. Honestly, I don't know anyone that's got it. I don't know anyone that's died from it. But I know a lot of people who are suffering from other things. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But it just seems it's getting centre stage.
Yeah, that's true.
For absolutely nothing. And I don't know what the reason. I'm not 100%. I've got a few little thoughts about it, but the reason why it's happening, I'm not even 100% now, because it seems, is it for the vaccine, is it for something else, or is it for total control, or is it to put win replace? I'm not even 100%. But obviously a lot of people are going to start suffering, I think, soon, especially with the likes of jobs and when food shortages and stuff like that will start happening soon, I would imagine.
Okay, let's you and I just go through a few bits and let's see if we can nail it. And I mean, of course, nobody will ever confirm it, and everybody else will shoot us down in flames. But let's do it anyway. Is it to hide what's going to happen with Brexit? Because you've got to remember, this is the party, Boris and his people, his tight group, some of whom he's recently sacked, were all the main Brexiteers. They built Brexit, they engineered Brexit. We are now about to Brexit, possibly with no deal, possibly with a deal. Who the hell knows? Is it just to have something else happening while that's going on to take our eye off it?
Well, I could understand it if that just affected the UK, but this is affecting the world, isn't it?
Gotcha. No, I hear it.
So if it was Brexit, I would have thought, well, why would it affect?
It would be Europe. It'd be a European virus.
Australia, or maybe a little bit Australia, but like the rest of the world, why would it affect that?
Unless people have witnessed what's going on and realised that British people who are used to doing what the hell they like, frankly, because we are now suddenly obeying everything that the government says, and other governments are saying, if we did that, we could regain control of our country and hold them both by the cojones.
Yeah. Britain, I've never known Britain in my entire life be like this. Honestly.
No, me neither.
They've just knelt down and goes, right, we believe you. I think, when has our government ever done anything for our best interest ever in the history of governments? Do you know what I mean? When have they ever went, right, this is for your best, this is for your own good, this is going to make you all better?
But when is the, to flip it around the other way, when have the British people just lain on their back and had their tummy tickled? That's, cause I can't ever remember a time that happened either. And that's what's happening at the moment. We'll do what you say.
Yeah, you think people would at least question a little bit? I mean, people are scared I think people are scared to think what they really want to think. And I think most people are talking, oh God, it's a load of rubbish and all this. I'm thinking, well, we need to, I can't be the only one to stand up for you know what I mean?
Right, hang on a second. Here's another one that's coming. We've had a pop and suggested, is it Brexit? And we seem to think, no, it's not. Otherwise, and I agree with you. Why is everybody playing? Why is Trump playing? Why is Canada, Brazil? Not the obvious places necessarily. Certainly not for Brexit. So, okay, Brexit's a possibility, and maybe it will benefit them having something not to look at Brexit if Brexit's going to be awful, and we don't know which way it's going to go. We've just had Neil send this in. I think it could be a worldwide screening for our DNA.
Well, that's happening anyways. I mean, the PCR test is a DNA test.
It is.
Definitely is. I mean,
so, but why would they want
that?
Why would they want that? And the second part that I add to that is, if they want our DNA, most of us at one time or another has had a blood test. Why don't they just make a DNA test with the blood that they're already taking for?
I don't think you can take a DNA test like that. You have to take it from the out, like the cells. I'm not 100%. Someone might correct us on this.
It's got to be up your nose or down. Got to be up your nose or down your throat. It can't come from a bit of blood. Okay. So
I mean, you know, like if you watch some like daft telly programs or like the Jeremy Kyle show, it's exactly the same test. Exactly the same test, and people are rushing to go and get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I was going through North Shields the other day and I seen a test centre just on the bottom road. There's like a bit of a skate park there.
Yeah.
And I thought, there was tons of kids there. It was great. I was watching them flying around and that. 'Cause I was waiting for somebody.
Right.
I thought, I'll sit in the test car park, right, for a bit.
And watch the thousands who can't get a test.
There was a lad standing at the gate with a yellow vest on. Obviously, his jacket on and his mask and all that. I sat there for nearly an hour, Alan, honestly.
Nobody.
One lady came in. She ran over the car park, This is someone who's supposed to have a virus. She ran over the car park, right? Obviously, had a chat with the guy. She went in. About 10 minutes later, she came out. A car came out the car park, picked her up. It had 2 children in the back and what I assumed to be her husband in the driving seat. So she got in and took her mask off. So I thought, you went in to get a test. You've got back in the car with your husband and your 2 kids in the back. Nobody's got masks on in the car. I'm thinking, wait.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, and also I was reading in one of the newspapers about how there's all these people desperate for a test, but they can't have one. And then the following Sunday, somebody rang in who works at the test centre in Morpeth, saying that there's hardly anybody wants one. You know, they're
trying to create this demand, like, are they trying to give them like keep them on the edge? Say, we haven't got enough space for you. This type of thing to make them want it more. And do you think that'll kind of prime them into the vaccine thing and things like that?
Well, you see, the vaccine's the next thing. Is the vaccine going to be a DNA test for the ones that they haven't been able to do a test on? If you know what I mean.
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't trust it for a second. I mean, it takes 7 years to fully safety test a vaccine, and they've managed to pull it off in less than a year. And it's still, like you said before, it was 90%, then it was down to 65%. And I'm thinking, like, sure, you can't get such a percentage from being so effective, then not effective. I mean, I think the truth is, well, there's people that have died from it. There's people, some Ukrainian soldiers have died. Some people in Korea have died. But obviously, you're not hearing it on the big broadcasters, right? But it's, I mean, anyone can go and look that up. And I mean, I wouldn't be having it. I certainly wouldn't want any people I know have it. Like,
but they've generated enough terror for the majority will.
Yeah. Well, but what? I mean, I don't know what they're trying to gain. See, I've got a couple of, if you want to call them theories.
Oh, have them. Let's have them.
You've got this climate change thing going on.
Yeah.
Right, and they're pushing that, They've been pushing it for months. I'm thinking, well, you're in the midst of one of the biggest pandemics the world's ever seen, and so why are they pushing this climate change thing now? I mean, nobody's going anywhere. No one's flying. So surely the world should have reset itself by now.
But is that what it's about then? Resetting the world and filling the holes in our ozone layer?
Well, the problem is we cause carbon in the eyes of the people that run the world. And so what they're going to do? They're going to get rid of the people, clearly.
Yeah, so therefore let's say you and I, forget everybody else what they do, but you and I, not too keen on the vaccine, so we decide not to get it. Does this mean that by this time next year we're going to have to buy a bow and arrow to try and escape the Hunger Games? Is this where it's really going then? Because the rest of society are all covered. They've all had the vaccine. So what do? Do they hunt down the people that haven't? Because they could cripple society. They could come back and spread a virus.
Well, that's the thing as well. I mean, if people are getting a vaccine, I mean, this virus hasn't even been isolated yet. I mean, there was a freedom information request put into the Department of Health and Social Care asking whether they've had the natural isolation of this virus, and they haven't.
No.
That was just a matter of weeks ago. So the DHSC haven't got that information, which suggests they haven't isolated it. You can't isolate it using other means, like you can use other cells to isolate the virus.
Right.
You actually need to naturally isolate it from the direct source, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But they haven't. So the basing everything that's going on off zero evidence of anything actually being there.
So you mentioned though that you had two theories. What was your other theory then? You mentioned the one about the whole DNA thing and testing. So what's your other theory?
Well, the other one's obviously the control one. I would like, obviously it's a lot of, well, it's very few people actually want a lot of control over a lot of people.
Sure.
So I think obviously the cash thing, that's going to go. I mean, everyone's online and all this hooked up to the internet and what have you. So nobody's going. The high streets will be gone and things like that, and you'll just be like what people used to. It's a bit of a cliche. You'll just be like a number, and then everything goes through your biometrics, this and that. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So you'll just be like I don't know. You'll just be like
small cog in a big wheel.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll just be like buying. You'll just be a commodity, and you'll just be buying exactly off them. But that's another thing. But with what's happening, I think it's a lot of it's just siphoning off taxpayers' money into these companies who are actually mostly owned by the people that are in governments. Do you know what I mean? You've got like Patrick Valance. He's got shares in GlaxoSmithKline, which is the same vaccine company. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, let's face it. I mean, we've heard that the multimillionaires have all made money at a time when everybody else is losing the seat of their pants. You know, so
exactly.
Just
the
tell us
little people that are losing. I mean, not even totally little people. Like small to moderate businesses are just getting wiped off the face of the earth. Because it's odd how they can't run their businesses yet. You've got like the big Amazons and all these type of people who they're allowed to go to work. They can mingle. They can do. I mean, they've got drivers flying all over the shop, and yet a little guy round the corner who's probably got 10 customers a day can't. But I mean, the little shops, like the little shops and things like that, you only ever get one or two people in them anyways in these little villages. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're shutting them down. They could easily have even a one in, one out policy, depending on what kind of shop it is.
Sure.
I mean, it's not any heartache, is it?
No, what we're hearing is you'll get somebody, you know, like a massive Weatherspoons that serves meals. They're allowed to stay open, but the pub next door that does a cheese sandwich can't. And it's the same people that use both of them.
But it doesn't make any sense. I mean, who comes out with all this, and who's obviously somebody's benefiting, and it's not the people who have got these smaller places. So, what benefit is it where the virus is concerned? Whether they get it in that one or that one, it doesn't make any sense. You only need two people to get that virus.
Sure.
So if you bump into one person and you've got it, it just doesn't matter whether you bump into 10 or 2. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. You can get it in one place and not in another, like you've just said.
And also, apparently COVID only comes out after 10 o'clock anyway, because you used to be able to mix in a pub, and then at 10 o'clock you had to go out because that's when the COVID comes in. It doesn't add up. But hey,
would it not be better to keep everything open 24 hours so you get less people through the day because they'll space out through the night? You know what I mean? Have you had it with that?
Well, it's as mad as half of the ideas that we're hearing on a daily basis. Alex, good to catch up. Thanks,
you too, Alan. Take care, mate.
All the best. There you go, Alex. Strong words as ever. Tracy says, as I said early on, it's to do with them aliens. DNA testing is looking for aliens. The world has been invaded by alien things. See, Tracy knows. And also Wayne, from the Parachute Regiment, as my regimental sergeant major drilled into us, never grow up. It's a trap, he used to say. And Anne, what does she say about the whole COVID thing? Alan, I have said from the start that they're scaremongering. The SARS, etc., were all viruses. Yet we've never shut down before. It's like the emperor's new clothes. You begin to doubt yourself. I've had loads of stick from people for saying this. You just have to be sensible and not listen to the government. They don't care about us. They just care about themselves. The experts should have taken this whole thing over. By the way, it's against the law of human rights to make people stay indoors. Free speeches are right by law too. So how do they get away with shutting us up? Are there no consequences for these things that they're doing? Is there no one that they answer to? They have us arguing amongst ourselves, and they know that. I feel like they're laughing their heads off. It has become a dictatorship. Yes, with one dick at the head. 0191 488 3188. But who is it? Is it a member of the Illuminati? Is it this new world order? Or is it just politicians in charge of various countries, whether it's Trump or Boris or whatever? Is it one of those guys that decided to let all of his pals in? We're going to do this. You should do it too. This is the best chance we'll have to get everybody doing it across the planet. Then we'll regain control, if that's what it's about. Who knows? 0191 488 3188. Let's bring another batch of stars for you, because the stars come out at night, especially on the Night Owls. This is Daryl Hall and John Oates talking about stuff that hurts. Oy.
Oh my God! Well, I you can't top having a kidney stone.
Oh no, I agree. I so agree. How far back was it? And did you get another one afterwards?
I had just finished. I was just in the end of doing my Three Hearts album with Dave Stewart in the mid-'80s.
Right.
And I was here, and I found out that I am allergic to. I'm in England, right? Yeah. I'm allergic to tea.
You're in the wrong place.
I'm in the wrong place. So I was drinking, gallons of tea every day, doing this album, and suddenly I started getting pains from hell. So I don't drink tea anymore. I live in England, but I don't drink tea.
They had said to me after I had one that you had to stop drinking too much milk or peanuts, nuts of any kind. I stopped having, but then I got another one. So you just, once you've had one of them, you really don't want another one, do you?
Yeah, well, as you know, you don't even want to think about it. Don't even talk about it.
No, not at all. So what about you then?
Oh, and speaking of nuts, I think my biggest problem was the tight pants that I wore throughout the 70s. I have to be honest, I've been very, very fortunate not to have any really seriously medical conditions, but I don't think I ever recovered from the snugness of the crotches of the.
Did it not help you with the high notes though? In the harmonies?
No, it did help with the high notes. Yeah, but that was it.
We used to say he had German Shepherd balls and Chihuahua pants.
Wonderful. Either of you? It's got to be the quote of the year.
Oh yes, thank you. That's a good one.